Well, hey, how are you today? Mikah Sargent on your left. I'm Leo Laporte on your right, and this is Ask the Tech Guys. Coming up, blue blockers. Is it okay to have one on your screen and wear blue blocker glasses? Like double blue blocking?
Double the blue. Plus, we get an email from someone who wants to know how they can access their work email and their private email all together without worrying about merging all of their accounts.
And then book recommendations galore. Micah's got a 400-hour book that he wants you to listen to. And not only that, this is the second time around. It's all coming up next. But Ask the Tech Guys.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This is Ask the Tech Guys with Mikah Sargent and Leo Laporte, episode 2025, recorded Sunday, May 19th, 2024, Bitcoin Pizza. Well, hey, how are you today? That's Mikah Sargent.
Hello, Leo Laporte.
You're just wearing a t-shirt today.
This is not a t-shirt. This is a sweater.
And blue jeans.
They're black jeans. Just
what
all
the hell's
wrong.
wrong with you?
Black jeans.
This is
and
not.
a purple
This
sweater.
is work day, not cash day.
This is me bringing about a change. Once in a generation, we get to make a change. No, I'm mixing it up.
Will do you good.
It was funny. We got a email not too long ago.
Uh-oh.
And I kind of laughed. Somebody said,
"Why are you so dressy?"
The faux hipster dressy thing.
Oh,
is really,
please!
And
don't
I said,
take that.
"No, I didn't take it to heart. It's just coming up now. But I really like this purple sweater, and I don't get to wear it very
you look
often.
great.
So
I'm not complaining. You look gorgeous.
You look nice too.
No, I don't. But anyway, thank you for saying that.
I like the socks. Are they Italian? What's going on there?
Yes, celebrating Imola, Emilia Romagna, the beautiful day for Italy. No, you know what it's really celebrating?
What's that?
Bitcoin Pizza Day, which is Thursday.
I hate Bitcoin. I hate cryptocurrency.
And you probably love pizza. But the two combined in a unique way on this day in May 20, well, not this day, but it'll be this week, May 22nd, 2010, 14 years ago, the first cryptocurrency purchase. Laszlo Hanich bought 2 pizzas from Papa John's, the first ever purchase with Bitcoin, paving the way for the financial revolution brought about by cryptocurrency. How much? Guess. Well, you don't have to guess. It's right on the screen there. How many Bitcoin do you think that Papa John's pair of pizzas cost?
Well, I'd want it to be like 0.08, but
which
I
would
think
be
you're going to tell
sensible.
me.
It was 10,000 Bitcoin.
Are you kidding me?
Today worth around $650 million. So you might also say it's not merely Bitcoin Pizza Day. It's the most expensive pizza of all time day.
Wow. And it had no gold leaf on it, sadly.
Yeah, I hope he enjoyed those pizzas. He must be. Do you think he looks back on that and goes, well, what did I know?
Right. Because 10,000 Bitcoin now. Yeah. I don't know if he looks back and goes, what did I know? I think he looks back and goes, why?
He was a Florida-based programmer, offered 10,000 Bitcoins to anyone who would order him 2 pizzas from Papa John's.
Oh.
He did this on the Bitcoin Talk forum. I will pay 10,000 Bitcoins for a couple of pizzas. 2 large ones, so I have some left over for the next day. That was thinking ahead. You can make the pizzas yourself or bring it to my house or order it from a delivery place. What I'm aiming at is getting food delivered in exchange for Bitcoin. He further added what toppings. If you're interested, we can work out a deal. A British man, a Bitcoin enthusiast, took him up on the offer, bought him 2 pizzas at Papa John's for 10,000 Bitcoin. Now, it was worth $41. Pizzas were worth $25. So it was a bad deal all around.
Even back then, bad deal.
I don't understand the court's slideshow on this.
Yeah, this is weird.
It's like, okay, great. You got something from Getty Images.
It's a delivery guy.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing? Now, Bitcoin is currently struggling a little bit. Let me just see what Bitcoin's at right now. But I think it's, people are saying it might get to 100,000. Well, that's not bad. 66,000. Yeah. It's not a high ever. Let's look at the all-time high of Bitcoin. It's close though. All-time high was 72,000. So we're getting close.
Wow.
So Bitcoin Do not buy pizza with
Do
it.
not.
However
buy pizza.
many pizzas you would get.
Unless the pizza is itself a cryptocurrency that is
Pizza
worth
coin.
more than Bitcoin.
That's a good idea. We should do that.
We should.
There's some money in that.
We are going to mint 40,000
meme coin.
pizza coins, and you
Brilliant.
out there can be the first to purchase them.
Now, I see you walking around with
I do walk around.
a brand new device.
Oh, yes.
Your iPad.
This is
Pro.
the beautiful 11-inch iPad Pro with M4 chip.
This is the beautiful 12.9-inch
Wow.
iPad Pro with, what's it saying?
It's saying,
Nearby personal hotspot. No,
thanks. We're good.
These are some pictures I took. I took as an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
The car show was this week in Petaluma, the American Graffiti car show, because American Graffiti was shot here.
Perfect time for photos.
Yeah, it's the only time really that I can get good photos. So, so I went out and I actually got some great photos. And then the test was, can I import them from my camera into my iPad Pro and then use the iPad Pro to manage them in Apple Photos and edit them in
without involving a computer. I think you're
computer
saying. Yeah.
involved. And I'm happy to say it worked quite well. The screen is so beautiful. You almost wonder, is it making it more beautiful than the actual image? I guess that's possible. But I was very pleased. I got some good images, one of which I submitted to Chris Marquardt for later in the day. We'll see if I get picked. I don't really have an inside track, with Mr. Marquardt. But I thought it was a really fun day. Here's one of the pictures. I think there you got it. There you go. The color. I don't want to airplay it because you wouldn't see the color, but then again, you're not really seeing how gorgeous it is either because you're looking at the.
Wait, can I see that on the screen? I could actually see it.
You could see it. Judge if you will.
That looks like it came from a magazine.
It's really a great screen.
That's gorgeous.
It's a gorgeous
And also,
screen.
you did a great job with the photography.
Well, and I have to credit these. It's so funny. These beautiful people were wandering around the car show, I said, "May I take your picture?" And they said they kindly assented.
Aww.
And they said, our picture's hanging right now in San Francisco's DeYoung Museum. Irving Penn took a picture of us in 1967, which is now on the museum walls. And I thought, well, if DeYoung Museum wants this, I'll be glad to send it along. You could do it side by side. I was very, very pleased with the workflow. That was the test. It wasn't a test of can I take great pictures. It was a test of whether the iPad can do a good job with pictures.
Oh my God,
and I think it does.
Leo, these are really good photos.
Well, I hope Chris Marquardt thinks so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I had some fun with it.
I just think
and I'm using Capture One to do the editing. So I was going to use Darkroom. Yeah, there's some beautiful. These cars are gorgeous. They're works of art. I mean, credit to the cars.
Wait,
look at these.
That's impractical.
Oh, there's more impractical to come. You want to see the most impractical car in the bunch?
I would love to see.
This is the most, but it has the merit of being a really noisy car when it goes down the street.
Oh, Batman.
I called it the Annihilator. I don't really know what it is. The eardrum piercer. They're really, 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 really loud.
That's pretty.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. A lot of color. Those cars people put their life into.
There's so much texture.
I call this one
as well.
Distracted Dad because he's got his beautiful babies there. One's sleeping, but he's really much more interested in that Chevelle. That could be a meme right there.
Yeah, it really is. Yep.
It's a meme in the making. Anyway, so at least, but you know what? I bet you it would have been almost as good in the old iPad Pro. The only thing is this OLED screen, which is really gorgeous.
Speaking of that, we talk about how it's hard for the folks to see what the screen looks like.
Can't tell.
There's a video that I want us to play from Twitter where someone has a 2018 iPad Pro, which has the mini LED
side by side
next to the new iPad Pro, which has OLED. And from the get-go of the video, you can see the clear difference. On the left is the mini LED iPad Pro.
There's something wrong with the one on the left. It's blue.
It's simply that there aren't enough. There's too much light.
It's trying too hard.
Yeah, there's just too much light shining through because those are mini LEDs as opposed to all of the pixels being lit up.
We could have done the same
independently.
thing. I should have brought my 2018 iPad Pro
Yeah.
with me. But yeah, I have to say, from a point of view of photography,
and the
iPad
color,
Pro is a good choice.
it just looks so much richer with the OLED iPad for sure.
I think it's pretty good. I was very pleased. I don't normally submit photos to Chris Marquardt because I feel like,
you don't want to.
I don't want to be embarrassed.
Oh, I see.
But,
you don't want to be vulnerable.
You want to see the picture? Because the assignment, which is coming up at 1 this afternoon, a couple of hours, is tough.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see the picture I took for tough?
I want to see tough.
This is my tough photo. Let's see if Chris Marquardt agrees.
Oh,
that is one tough cookie.
That is
coming down the street. Black and white even looks very nice.
Good golly, that looks amazing.
Huh? Burke and Lily in about 20 years. Yeah. This was another one I was considering.
Wow.
That's just funny.
I love that. Can we zoom in a little bit on the pistons or whatever they're called?
Yeah, this is called a rat rod.
Wow, the way it just kind of breaks through is really...
The car shows are fun.
Clever.
Car shows are really fun because you get all sorts of interesting people. Or not people, as the case may be, and a lot of color. It's really great for... This is the Giants Hum Baby Mobile. Really great.
Oh, that's what that says. Hum Baby.
Hum Baby. There's the Annihilator. I thought about that for tough.
That looks pretty tough too. But I like the one you chose.
That's called a Hudson Hornet.
I would drive that.
Old car. Look at that.
Ooh.
It's a Zeppelin bus from 1937. I don't know if that is original or modified. I think it's original. Crazy stuff. And there's our beautiful couple. And there's my beautiful wife.
Oh, nice. I love
her
that.
Shirt says,
through.
Enjoy the journey. Anyway, I don't know. Joe is a photographer. He also bought the iPad Pro in our club TWiT. I'm just curious if Joe has done anything yet, but I feel like it justifies if you're a photographer. Yeah, he said he edited these on his M4 iPad. The M10R was no match for the M4 processor. Yeah, we're both like a shooters.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't feel any hesitancy. My images are 60 megapixel, so they're gigantic. And it was just flawless. Nice shots there on Coney Island. Anyway, that's the news across the nation. Bitcoin pizza and new iPads.
Be on the lookout. We are shooting our iPad Pro review on Wednesday.
Good.
As I will have had a week, so at least 7 days to spend with it. And so you'll get some more detail and in-depth understanding of what's going on. I'm really excited to talk about the Apple Pencil Pro and what all that brings to the table. And as we start to see a few more developers update their apps to take advantage of some of that stuff, I think it'll be fun to dive into that.
Also coming up, Rod Pyle, Spaceman. Blue Origin is announced. After a hiatus of several years, they're going to send another rocket almost into space.
And nobody died.
6
as
people.
far as we know.
No, they haven't. Did they do it already?
Yeah.
Oh, it's over.
Yeah.
It's so quick, these days.
One of the parachutes failed to deploy.
Oh,
but
nice.
Nobody died as far as we know.
It just was a sudden descent, little more vigorous than expected. What do people do if they want to ask a question? Because it is called Ask the Tech Guys, I see.
If you want to ask, we've got several ways for you to ask. The first one is while the show is going on, if you head to call.twit.tv on your iPad or your phone or your computer, you will be taken to a Zoom room where you'll hang out and wait to ask your question live on air. Now, importantly, if you do choose to use that method, you need to look toward the bottom of the screen, whether you're on your iPad, your whatever, and find whatever device
on your whatever
you want to use. Find a little hand and click or tap on that hand. That lets us know that you do indeed have a question that you want to ask.
Please, sir.
Please.
I've got a question, sir.
If you are chosen, you will be brought into our little Stargate here where you'll be able to ask your question. There are 2 more ways to get in touch with us. There's the phone number, 888-724-2884, otherwise known as 888-724-ATTG. Calling that phone number while the show is going on will also bring you into Zoom. You don't really need to know that, but that's where you are. And then if you were brought up to ask your question, you will hit *6 to unmute yourself so that you can ask your question. If you do call that phone number during the week while we're not recording the show, you will be able to leave a voicemail that we can play back live on air.
Isn't that clever of us?
So clever. And then the last method is to email us, atg@twit.tv. twit.tv. Emailing us will, if you're sending text, means we'll print that out and it'll be available for us to read and answer. You can also send audio or video that way as well.
Loads of calls lined up. We are jam-packed today. That's great. We will get to those calls in just a bit, but first, a word from our sponsor. You may have noticed I am sporting something a little bit light, a little
svelte,
springy,
yeah.
a little svelte. This is my new HP EliteBook 1040 G11 from HP and Intel. They are sponsors for this segment.
Nice.
Of Ask the Tech Guys. This is that AI PC that everybody's been talking about. It's HP's first commercial AI PC with an Intel Core Ultra processor that's designed with AI acceleration to empower your workforce and deliver excellent performance. By the way, the battery life on this is mind-boggling. You also get world-class security with HP's Wolf Security. With the HP EliteBook 1040 G11, you get Smart Sense. Now, that's running right now. It's monitoring my PC's vitals, making automatic adjustments to, this is how you get great battery life, to energy hogging resources. You can get up to 29 hours of battery life on this. And that's all because it's balancing the battery, fan, processor, everything that runs inside your laptop. Just sip battery when you don't need it and to use all the battery you do need when you've got work to do. All you have to do is allow your focus to remain on bringing your biggest ideas to life. HP recently acquired Poly Studio, and the Poly AI-driven audio on this is incredible, along with the Windows Studio effects. So if you are, as many of us are these days, stuck on the Zoom, you will love the automatic face framing. This is all with AI. Eye contact built in. You've got adaptive dynamic voice leveling for optimal voice clarity based on your environment, background noise reduction, and more. Copilot. See the Copilot key? It's on here. The Copilot is the AI assistant that automates your workflow by suggesting personalized optimizations and streaming for efficiency. You can use learning deadlines and personal productivity patterns to help you set priorities and manage your time effectively. It's really nice to have your little pal, your Copilot, right there. You just press the key. Windows 11 Pro on this, the latest Intel Core Ultra 5 or 7 processor you choose. The OLED is great. I should show you. You got the over the shoulder, I see. Let me see. I have to disconnect this. But I'll show you the same pictures on the OLED screen. I'm only buying laptops with OLED from now on because the screens are such an improvement on the old stuff. I don't know. It's getting a little glare on it, but it really is a gorgeous, gorgeous screen. I love OLED. And that's nice because you've got the great speakers. You can, when you're done with your Zoom call, you can enjoy yourself. This is it. Oh, this is it. You can enjoy yourself. I just want to show you the Copilot key. There you go. Right there. Pop up Copilot wherever you are. Your little buddy will help you. Look, there's the pictures I drew of Paul Thurrott and Richard Campbell doing Windows Weekly. Copilots did a little illustration.
Nice.
Isn't that funny? I said two middle-aged podcasters, and I guess I decided to put them in beards or something.
Beards and a beanie.
Beards and a beanie. Anyway, I love this thing. Very, very nice laptop. I've always been a fan of HP laptops, at least in the new era of HP laptops, and this just shows you what a company firing on all cylinders can do. The brand new HP 1040 G11, 14-inch OLED, 5-megapixel camera, HP Wolf Security for Business, and so much more. This is a great laptop. Here's what, your employees will love it, and you'll love it too because the price is right. It adapts to your workers' personal needs and behaviors. They can regain meaningful time and focus to meaningful work. That means your bottom line is improved. Go to HP.com, search for the HP EliteBook 1040 G11 to learn more today. We'll have a link on our show page for you. HP.com, search for the HP EliteBook 1040 G11. And I was showing it to Paul and Richard on Wednesday, and Paul said, I agree, HP makes the best keyboards now these days. A really nice keyboard, wonderful touchpad. In all respects, this is everything you'd want on a laptop. Very happy with it. Thank you, HP, for the 1040 G11. I'll be using it all day today. And I dropped the plug, so we'll get to test the battery life. I got 3 days out of it of casual use, so is pretty impressive what it can do.
Nice.
We're starting now with 83%. We'll see how we do through the show.
And it seems like the more you use it, the better it's going to get since
It's
the
smartens
AI
up.
stuff. You know.
It smartens up. Let's take our first call of the day, Mr. John Ashley, producer man.
All right. So this person actually called in very early on in the morning, so I'm going to pick up on them first.
Yeah, they've been on hold for 8 hours, ladies and
8
gentlemen.
hours waiting in line. If you're in line, stay in line.
Yes. But don't give water to anybody in line, okay? I'm just saying. Hello, what's your first name and what city are you calling from?
I'm Anne from San Diego. Can you hear me okay?
Hey,
Hello,
Ann,
Ann.
great to hear you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I listened to your show when it was on the radio, and it's
Thank
just
you.
so great. And
Thank you.
I'm so happy to be on. So this is my question. I'll just give you a couple of details. I have a 17-inch Dell laptop, over 10 years old. I love it. It's like a workhorse. It's sitting on a stand, cabled to the wall. I kind of use it as a desktop.
Great.
And it's really good. I'm having problems now suddenly with glare, and I wanted to ask you if you I went on Amazon and it was overwhelming. I just didn't know what to pick.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you your recommendation for a good screen protector in terms of anti-glare and blue light blocking, and then after that, if I could just quickly ask a follow-up question to your answer.
Yeah. That's an interesting question. I haven't used any, so I can't give you my personal recommendations. They're all probably from the same company. I hate to say this.
Ultimately imported.
These Chinese companies, make all of them, and then people buy them and brand them. There's two ways to do it. This one, this one from Easy Pro, is kind of like a screen protector you put on like that. If you're watching the video, you can see. But they also make some that magnetically kind of snap on to the screen. Now, how big is this? You said 17-inch?
17-inch.
Yeah. So that's a giant laptop. It looks like this is big enough. This is intended actually for desktops, so it might even be too big. Ideally, you'd want to get one that fits the laptop you've got. Anybody in our chat room have experience with these? I think the blue blocking is a good idea, and the anti-glare is a good idea. You could see I was getting some glare on this laptop from the studio lights because it's a very bright environment. I don't have a direct experience with any of these companies. We can send you to some websites that have reviews. I'm going to go with ZDNet. I kind of trust them. The 7 best blue light protectors from Forito, Allen, OcuShield. I would take any of these. ZDNet is a reliable source. I don't think Lena Borelli is an AI. But I hope she's not.
Is that Z as in zebra, D as in David,
Yeah,
ZDNet?
Ziff Davis is the old company, and and so I in the past I've really trusted them and their stuff. But the good news is because of the reviews, it'll give you some idea of pros and cons. For instance, this has a high hardness rating, which is probably good if you. I don't know, if you touch the screen a lot and so forth. There are a variety of these. And some of them will be anti-glare. Some of them just will be blue light. And I don't see anybody in our chat room who has used them.
Yeah, I've honestly never used one on my laptop before, mostly because, and I'm going to say this, it's a good thing that this is an older laptop because newer laptops, they are in many cases purpose-built to be very slim as possible. And so there's not a lot of space in between the laptop and the keyboard to even have that screen protector on there, and it can cause damage to have it in the way. So the fact that this is an older one is good because it's less likely that closing it down is going to cause issues.
So the one I think I like the most, and the one I've kind of heard people talk about, is the OcuShield, OCU Shield.
Okay.
And it
Okay,
is
and
not
then could I just-
cheap. It's about $65, but it does have both the blue light and the glare protection. It's you're going to want to get
Okay.
the one they've got here is 15 inches. That's not big enough. Let me see if they offer a 17-inch. Yes, they do. So, and make sure also you get
good.
the right aspect ratio. You probably have a 16 by 10, 17-inch. So make sure you get the right aspect ratio. This looks like, based on the reviews, the material they're using, it is a little pricey. Wow, that's $80, but I think it'll work. You said you had a follow-up question?
So just two quick questions. What is the aspect ratio? And then also, if I do get this, which I think I'm going to, since it has blue light protection and anti-glare, can I also wear blue light blocking glasses with it?
Double blue light. I don't think there's any point. I don't think you'd get any more blue light protection, but you could try. It wouldn't hurt. Are you worried that it'll be too dark or something? The blue light is filtered out. I wear blue. I agree with you. I think I wear blue light computer glasses that just have the filter in the glasses, and I really like that. I think that's
that's another question. So I guess the final questions would be, and thank you so much. This is awesome.
Which Dell laptop is it? I'm going to look up the aspect ratio. Which Dell?
Okay, sure. It's really an old one, but I love it. So it's Dell Intel Premium. Let me see what this says over here.
Dell has Latitude. They have different types. There's XPS. There's Latitude. It's probably a Latitude, I'm going to guess.
I have no idea. I'm very kind of ignorant with computers.
It might say underneath
Inspiron.
Oh, it's an
It says
Inspiron.
Inspiron
Okay.
15.
Yeah, that's okay. So Inspiron is another one. Let me just see what
And
they're.
it gives some more. It says Inspiron 15.
Okay. Let me just see if I can see what the aspect ratio is. All modern laptops are either 3:2, rarely, or 16:10. So yeah, you want to get the right one. Otherwise, it'll be the wrong. Aspect ratio is the width by height. Let me see. Dell Inspiron. Now, you said it was 17 or a 15? No.
Well, when I measured it
It's a
yesterday, I measured it diagonally.
Yeah.
I measured it diagonally from the very edge.
Go with what
diagonal.
Dell says, not what your measurements are. So it's a 15.
Oh.
And let me just see. Yeah, it's 1920 by 1080. So you can also see that in the display monitor. So that's 16 by 9?
9, I think, yeah.
Let's see. 1080 divided by 9 is 120.
Yeah, that's 16:9.
Okay, 16. So so the aspect ratio is it's 16 units wide by 9 units high. In this case, 1920 by 1080. That's what aspect ratio is. It's how width by height.
So in other words, when I go to buy it, it should say 16 by 9.
It should say either 16 by 9. Yes, it should say 16 by 9. And
So
I don't think you want the 17-inch. I think you want to go by the model number. Look up the model number and see what it is. You may be confusing the i7 with, measuring it diagonally isn't going to give you the right.
Particularly if there's bezel around the outside.
Yeah.
Bezel is the part that's just black. If you're measuring from the
If it
true
says-
left corner to the top right corner and you're measuring more than just what is lit up on the screen, that's going to make a difference. And so, yeah, you want to go by, if it says Dell Inspiron 15,
That sounds like a 15-inch.
that's a 15-inch
Yeah.
laptop.
Okay, so I'm a little confused, but that's okay. So in other words, it's a 15, but when I go to buy it, I should order a 16 by 9.
No, you should get
Is that correct?
Yes, you
I
should
see
get the 15-inch 16 by 9.
15-inch 16 by 9.
Yeah. So
Okay.
16 by 9
Okay.
is width by height, right? But it could be 2 inches, 16 by 9, or it could be 1,000 inches, 16 by 9. So what you want to know is not merely the ratio of the width to the height, but also, you're right to measure it diagonally, but I think that if it says it's an Inspiron 15, I'd say it's a 15-inch.
Okay.
Okay?
So I guess those are
And I
good-
think get that
good marching
OcuShield.
orders.
That looks good to me. That's the one I would get if I were spending my $70. Wow. I'm surprised these are that expensive.
There are some on there for like $20, but
Yeah.
I just
Yeah. It's the material that makes it expensive. Weirdly enough, New York Magazine has a review of these as well. That seems odd to me. I didn't know you.
Well,
New
maybe
York
they know their audience.
It's the Strategist. Oh, these are glasses, not.
And this would be a snap-on. Is that correct?
No, this one is a
snap-on?
screen protector type. So you want to clean your screen thoroughly. They'll have instructions in the box. Clean your screen thoroughly, and you put it on one corner at a time. And, it's nice to have a credit card or something like that. You can get the bubbles out, because that's what happens with those is you get bubbles on them, and you don't want any bubbles.
If they have a magnetic snap-on option, is that okay?
Yeah, I prefer that, because then you could take it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's not. But I'll tell you the difference, because it's not against the screen. It doesn't look quite as good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wish I could find
minuscule amount of space between the screen and the screen protector will make a difference.
I see 3M makes these as well.
If I do adhere it to the screen, can it be peeled off?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In
If
fact,
necessary? Okay.
Yes. In fact, I see that 3M makes these. Now that's a name I'm comfortable
name we
with.
know.
The makers of Post-it notes. 3M makes some nice computer accessories. I'm going to think that this would also be a good choice. I don't see one for your size though. This one's made for computer monitors. It looks.
Oh yeah, 19 inches the smallest.
Yeah, it's not a laptop.
There
wait a
you
minute.
go.
Here we go for laptop. Oh, it's even less. Look at this. Can't go wrong buying 3M, can you? Here you go. The 3M anti-glare filter for 15-inch widescreen laptop. That's yours. That's what you've got, a widescreen 15-inch. You see, it's actually 15.6, and it's $33. It's a lot more affordable. So that's what I would go with.
So you're saying 15.6 is okay?
Yes, that's the one. I think that's what you have.
They simplify it for the sake of making it simpler.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, because it says here on a little label, bright 15.6 HD widescreen display.
There we go.
There you go. That nails it. We know it's 16.9. We know it's 15.6. This is the 3M. It doesn't mention blue blocking on this, but you've got the blue blocker glasses, so. But this is definitely going to help with the anti-glare, and I think 3M does probably make the best stuff.
So either 3M or either the
OcuShield. Yep. I know 3M's a lot less expensive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't thank you enough.
Well, I'm glad we can
Really
help. That's a great question. If anybody is listening and wants to call in with their experience with these, that would be great. Or you could mention it when you're in the Discord chat. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you. It's great to hear from you. I'm glad you're still listening, even though I've departed the great KF. Actually, you were listening on KOGO in San Diego, or KG?
I think it was it 600?
Yeah.
I think it was the 600 or 700.
Yeah, I think it was.
I really enjoyed it, and I have your email, and I'm going to be emailing you questions for sure.
I will look for it.
Thank you for being Thank you for being a fantastic resource for us.
Our pleasure. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. I think we shed quite a few listeners when we left Kogo and KFI
I better
and all
let
the
you
great.
go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye-bye. Yeah. Going off the radio as I did, it's now almost 2 years. Well, it's a year and a half, I guess. Some thought was crazy, but I wanted to work with this guy right here. And actually, it's nice to do a podcast. Plus, I can come in late. So, the truth comes out. We are just minutes away from Rod Pyle. Going to find out about that Blue Origin launch. 6 people went up, and as far as I know, 6 people came down. So that's good. You want
that? Yeah.
You want that, right?
That's something to line up. Yeah.
Something you're looking for. We'll talk about that and all the space news in just a second. But first, something weird. As long as we're talking about photography, Mikah and I are huge fans of Leo photos. Our show today brought to you by Leo, Mylio. There was no great place to put your photos. You could store it in the cloud with Google or Amazon, but I don't know. I feel like they're using it for AI training and all sorts of stuff. I wanted something I could store locally, something affordable, something, in this case, free. And I found Leo, Mylio. If you are a little nervous about storing photos and videos in the cloud, are you worried about the cost, duplicates, storage space, finding what you need, which is always the hard part, I would recommend Leo Photos. We love, Mike and I both use it, Leo Photos. So here's how it works. It's a private, cloud-independent platform. So you can use the cloud, but it's encrypted. So even if you use Google or Microsoft or Apple, your data will be scrambled in a way that they can't use it for anything. It's yours and yours alone. You don't even have to use the cloud. I don't. I use my network-attached storage to store my photos, which is free and easy. Leo works on Mac, works on Windows, works on Android, works on iPhone. And if you want to use Leo Photos Plus, it'll work on all of those at the same time. So when I'm taking pictures and I upload them to my iPhone, they're in the Leo cloud or on my Leo devices across, all of the devices I use. With Leo Photos, you can get started for free. Download it now. In fact, this is the best way to find out about it. Go to myleo.com/twit25. Put it on one device for free. Pick the one that you have the most storage is what I would suggest. That way you can get all your photos in there, stored there. And then if you like it, sign up for their paid plan. You'll get automatic backups. You'll get syncing between devices, duplicate file cleanup. They do the best. And more. In fact, one of the things I did immediately as soon as I got Leo is import all of my Insta photos, all my Facebook photos, and all my Google, all the stuff stored in Google Photos. Now, as you might imagine, there's a lot of duplication there. Leo Photos not only imported all that stuff automatically, but deduped it. So I have one high-quality copy of everything, which I love. If you decide for Leo Photos Plus, it's $9.99 a month, $99 a year. I bought the $99 a year plan immediately. You can organize, manage, and protect an unlimited number of photos and videos across all your devices. I have more than 200,000 photos in Leo. And then with the automatic tagging and person recognition, you tell it, that's Mikah Sargent, that's my wife Lisa, and on a few photos, and then it goes through all your photos and tags them all. It automatically tags pets, dogs, cats, mice. It tags things like mountains and lakes. Suddenly, all your photos are all organized without you lifting a finger. And not just photos, documents too. But we'll save that for another day. Take control of all your digital assets, photos, videos, and documents. It even does OCR. With Leo Photos today, get started for free with their basic version. Take advantage of the full platform with Leo Photos Plus. We've got a special offer. Get 25% off your annual or monthly subscription. That's a really good deal. To Leo Photos Plus. Sign up, get 25% off. Go now to myleo.com/twit25, myleo.com/twit25. I use this in conjunction with all the different photo editing software. Basically, I consider it both backup and organization for everything. It's incredible. Leo Photos. At the very least, try it for free. myleo.com/twit25. I think you might become a full-fledged customer quickly. You know what? There's a brand new machine. I forgot to put Leo on it. So let me put it on right now and log in. And you'll see I'll immediately have all my photos available on this new HP, which is pretty cool. Are you ready to go into space?
I'm so ready for space.
Rodney Pyle is our spaceman. He is the editor of the Ad Astra magazine for the International Space Society, the author of many wonderful books, including First on the Moon, the story of the Apollo moon landing, which actually, I just learned the other day was real. So that's pretty cool.
This is where I punch.
Well, and anyway.
Boy.
Here he's massaging his temples. He's also the host of our wonderful show, This Week in Space, Mr. Rod Pyle. Hello, Rod.
I always thought it was Roderick.
Hello.
I don't know. I made up the rest.
That is my real name. Can you hear me okay?
Roderick?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello, Roderick.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on a different setup because my Ethernet failed upstairs for some reason.
Where's the space? I see. Oh, I get it.
Yeah,
You're down in the hold of the ship and you don't
That's
have
what it
portholes.
is. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I understand.
Below decks. How are you guys?
We are wonderful. And how are the 6 people who visited the stratosphere
Did they make it?
earlier today?
They made it, and good to see them flying again. This is their first flight since 2022.
Wow.
They had a problem with an uncrewed one where the booster failed and the capsule was okay, but they didn't want to fly again until they figured it out. So they got it all set.
Good
But
thinking.
remarkable about this flight is that among the passengers was Ed Dwight, who was the first African-American astronaut candidate ever selected back in 1961.
Oh,
And
that's
we
so
don't
mean. They
talk
never put him in
much about him.
space.
Never put him in space.
Well, so he was in the Air Force. He was a captain. He was sent to Edwards Air Force Base to train. And he had a little bit of a problem. I should say Chuck Yeager had a little bit of a problem with him. Chuck was running the program, not the most open-minded mind in the world. And even though Chuck's deputy said this candidate is entirely qualified to fly as an astronaut, for reasons never made clear, NASA did not select him.
Oh,
And it
that's
took
shameful.
22 years for Guy Bluford to fly on the space shuttle. So he was the first black astronaut.
Oh, so he
American.
has been in space.
No, Guy Bluford,
Guy
another guy
did.
flew.
Oh.
So this was Ed's first opportunity. Now, he was recently made an honorary officer in the Space Force, which is something that, this is decades later, you guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when he wasn't selected, he worked for years, stayed in the Air Force for a few more years, then worked as an engineer, was an entrepreneur, ran a restaurant, and interestingly to me, became a sculptor
Oh, wow.
for most of his career.
That's awesome.
So, he had a great life, but it was just a blot on the country that he
No
was not
kidding.
selected to fly because he was entirely qualified. And actually, the Russians flew someone of color before we did. So, what are you going to do? But the flight was successful. So Blue Origin's back in business. So we know I have 2 tourist rockets, them and Virgin Galactic, for as long as they fly. And that's good.
That's good.
When are you
But
going?
I have another. Me?
Yeah.
On this paycheck? I think last I checked, it was 400,000. So, Micah, how Leo buys you equipment sometimes. to
Oh,
check
I'll
out.
buy you a trip. Sure. Why not?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Shut down the studio, shut down the whole
Sure.
thing, mortgage your house. I'd appreciate that.
Sure.
But here's another cool story. So just when you thought the swinging 60s were gone forever, back comes the atomic rocket.
What?
So back in the 60s, there was a program being penned out on paper called Project Orion, which ranged anywhere in size from something the size of the top of a Saturn V to up to, get this, 1 million tons. So the size of a small town. Freeman Dyson was involved in this, and his tagline was Mars by 1965, Saturn by 1970. So this gigantic
Well, that was a
rocket-
good timeline.
Yeah. This gigantic rocket up in its cargo hold had thousands of atomic bombs that it would shoot out the back with a rifle. And each time one of those blew up, it would pulse the rocket forward.
Oh, my
that was the
word.
plot in the 3-body problem. That's
You
how
could reach incredible, and a couple of other science fiction books, Larry Niven books.
how
if I recall.
interesting.
Is this
And you
dangerous?
could reach
No.
great
What could
velocities with this
What
thing.
could possibly go wrong? Wouldn't
Well,
you
so here's the
scramble the
problem.
brain of the person in the spaceship?
No, actually, the acceleration was manageable because it had a plate on the back that would absorb the shock. It had big springs on it, but it was not practicable, and you had to launch it from Earth using atomic bombs, and that was considered not the best idea. But now,
But
a
now,
new company
but wait.
is partnering with NASA
Yes.
in their NASA Advanced Innovation Concepts program, and they're going to make a smaller one that actually it has uranium pellets instead of bombs.
Oh, it's just going to put out little
It's
pellets
a little
like
reactor.
a goat.
They
It's
could just
little goat
Well,
pellets.
yeah, and so to make them go critical, it shoots them down a barrel of uranium, and they go critical right at the end of the barrel, and then release this big plasma blast when they go out the back. So it'll be launched by a traditional chemical rocket, but once it's up there, they think it will reach appreciable speeds, and this could cut the transit time to Mars from 6 or 7 months to 2.
Oh, wow.
So this is pretty exciting stuff. This makes the solar system attainable finally after all these decades.
So let's do it.
Yeah, actually, now
What could possibly go wrong?
Wait, what happens to the pellets after they get to the end of the spring dealy?
Oh, you drop them off on the moon on the way.
I believe they vaporize on the way out.
Oh.
And, and space is very big, so radiation isn't really a problem. There's so much radiation out there already that this is very minimal. It also allows you to fly heavier things, so you can actually now start talking about putting enough shielding on the spacecraft so that the astronauts don't cook as they're crossing space, because that's been
that's
one of the big problems for long journeys. How do you protect these people?
And maybe we'll have the added benefit of taking out a few of those ridiculous satellites that Elon keeps putting up all over the place. It's so, like, little pellet will take out a few.
Shoot them.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about those. You should worry about the suspected Russian satellites that have nuclear weapons on them.
Killers. Yeah, the killer satellites.
Those are great. Didn't know about those. Now I do.
Fair game. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. Love that for us.
Is that real, or is that just propaganda, Russian propaganda?
Well, I don't know. There's Russian propaganda. I think you could almost characterize it as American propaganda, because the concerns came up from Space Force, but through intelligence channels. So we don't really know what the plan is, but there is an international agreement against the fielding of any kind of nuclear weapons or weapons of mass destruction in space. That's signed back in 1967. So, it's bad on all levels, when you put things up there that are not agreed upon, that are nuclear. So the tensions just keep escalating.
I just need $400,000 and I'll go check it out myself.
You're not going to get
that high enough, Micah. You couldn't see it.
You need a telescope. You got to go
binoculars out. Two more things. Boeing Starliner, to nobody's surprise, was delayed again. They've been delaying since 2017. The latest delay, this is the other capsule that's supposed to work with SpaceX's Crew Dragon to get astronauts up to the space station and back, had a helium leak. Had it not had a crew on it, they would have flown it, but they want to make sure they get it right and that everything's safe. Helium, sneaky stuff. It's a very small molecule, so it tends to leak easily. So they're rolled it back into the barn and they're working on it, and hopefully they'll launch towards the end of March. We'll see. I wouldn't take any bets on that. But the other cool one,
March of
do you
next
remember
year.
Jared Isaacman?
March of next year, you're talking about?
This year. May.
Oh, okay. No. We are in May now. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they know that too.
They may launch it in May.
Oh, I get it.
But here's another cool story. Remember Jared Isaacman, the internet billionaire?
No, wasn't he going to go up in one of them launch the Starship thing?
Yeah, well, he went up. He went up in the Dragon capsule.
That's
with,
a Dragon.
Other people.
Right.
He paid for that.
Out of his own pocket. Yeah.
The high school dropout paid for it out of his own pocket.
Nice.
And
see, kids, you don't need to go to high school. Just drop out.
And he's just in I met him a year ago, and he's kind of like Space Jesus. He is the nicest,
Space Jesus,
most genuine guy. I mean, he's modest.
What did he make his fortune in? Do you know?
What's that?
What did he make his fortune in?
Credit card processing.
Oh, okay. I was going to guess nuclear pellets, so I was clearly wrong.
Nice. But is he going back? Is he going to do more?
Well, he's got 3 more missions planned, two or three on Crew Dragon, and maybe one on Starship if it gets flying in time. But this one that's kind of interesting, this program he's put together again, which is self-funded by him, is called Polaris Dawn. And he called NASA and said, hey, we're going to go up to this really high orbit. It's about the same altitude as the Hubble Space Telescope. We're having some wear and tear problems on that, and it needs to be boosted back up or it's going to re-enter in a number of years. So what do you say we fly up there and fix it for you for free?
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's a pretty good deal. Now, some at NASA are like, yeah, let's do it. Others are a little more concerned because, when they did these space shuttle servicing missions, I think they did 4 of them, the astronauts would go train in the big water tank in Houston for months, floating around the water and figuring out how to connect things and all that. And Hubble's, it's kind of dangerous being near a big thing like that when you're just flying next to it in a SpaceX.
Yeah, you don't want some amateurs going up there just fixing it, right?
That's kind of the concern.
Yeah.
Now, they wouldn't have to do much. They swap out, I think, one instrument board, and then they're docked to it. They added this docking collar to it last time they went up there. So they're actually docked to it, and they would fire their rockets and boost it into a higher orbit so it would stay there longer. And, it's tough, because on the one hand, it would be risky. And, SpaceX, nobody's done an EVA or a spacewalk sent out of a spacecraft like that you have to depressurize, unlike the shuttle, since the 1960s. But at the same time, when you look at what Hubble's done for us over the decades, it's this gift that keeps on giving. It's this amazing inspirational scientific instrument. So we'll see. They have to get up there. They have to test the EVA suits that SpaceX is building, because nobody's really done that for a long time either, since the 80s, in terms of designing those things. So we'll see. But as one of the people at NASA said, in the best case scenario, a successful private mission could improve Hubble's ability to point at celestial objects, and by boosting its orbit, extend its life by years, maybe a decade. In the worst case scenario, however, an accident could leave the multi-billion telescope broken, and even more tragically, dead astronauts tethered to it. So that's a sobering vision.
But that's always true. I guess the difference is this is a private mission versus a NASA mission.
Yeah, and they're not government astronauts, so it gets kind of thorny. But, this is part of this new space age we're in, where these private entrepreneurs are doing these amazing things.
They don't offering to do it for free. God bless them.
Yeah. And they'll sign whatever's waivers are necessary. So,
well, I would imagine NASA would say, okay, but we want to train them. We want to train you. We want an oversight of your procedures. We want to see how you're going to do this. We want an oversight of the vehicle, and so forth and so on. I bet you they end up doing it. I mean, it's not like they have an infinite budget.
No, and we're feeling that more and more. I've got the space conference I helped put together coming up next week here in LA. It's called the International Space Development Conference. And one of the speakers we have, who will actually be on This Week in Space next week, is the just retired chief engineer up at NASA. And part of what we're going to talk about, largely what we're going to talk about, is the sort of tapering end of the Mars program, because the money's running out. And while we'll still be working with those rovers up on Mars, there aren't any new missions planned. And JPL's getting very concerned, because that's their bread and butter, and that's what they do best. And they build machines that work for 15 years at a time up there. So, the money is finite, and we got astronauts to land on the moon. So we got to figure out where to put our chips on this one.
We got to get going. Ron Pyle, editor-in-chief at Astra, space.nss.org, if you want to subscribe to that fabulous publication. You got any books coming out soon?
I'm working on one in stealth mode that I can't talk about yet, but we're looking at about 9 months.
Nice.
Oh, gestational period.
My first biography.
A biography. Ooh, I love that.
They're harder.
Yeah, you gotta research and stuff.
Well, yeah, I've been talking to this guy, I think about 35 hours so far.
It's a guy who's alive.
Is it Space Jesus?
Yeah. No, it's not Space Jesus. But hey, he could be next. He hasn't had one yet. That's a good idea.
Exciting.
I'm sending you 5%.
High five.
How exciting. Rod Pyle also hosts This Week in Space with Tarek Malik of space.com. What's your record day?
We record Friday morning and we post 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Okay.
All depending on Anthony's staggering workload.
So subscribe at twit.tv/twist, TWIS.
Yeah, because if you don't subscribe, you don't get to see the video, and that's half the fun with us.
Oh, yes, that's right. So, we should explain. We put out audio for the unwashed masses, but for those of you in the club, you get the video. You get to see this shining space face, the space face. Is that no?
Well, and you get to see Tarek fall out of his chair.
There's video for everybody. It's video for all. Guess what? It turns out we put out video for everybody. You and me.
We do?
Yes.
Oh, no. We can't do that.
I don't know. Is that they're nodding at me? They're looking at me and going, "What are you talking about, Leo?" So I apologize. Anyway, subscribe. twit.tv/TWIS. That it'll all become clear. Thank you, Rod.
On the air.
Roderick.
Thank you, sir.
It's great to speak with you.
Likewise.
And what do we say? What is the official space greeting? Live long and prosper?
Live long and get wealthy.
Yes.
On podcasting.
No, I can tell you right now, that's a bad choice. Thank you, Rod.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
I installed, while we were talking, My Leo photos on my Windows machine, and I have downloaded the thumbnails for 195,656 photos yeah, those haven't come up yet, but down below they have. These are the ones that's still downloading because there's more than 200,000 total. So it's good.
That's a lot of photos.
That's a lot of photos, and like that, you got them all.
Bada bing, bada.
Bada hum, bada heiny heiny hi, and a heiny heiny ho. What should we do now, Mr. John Ashley?
I'm going to try to pick up on Randy.
Randy. By the way, there's a little picture of our kitty cat. Oops, don't show that. It's got my address on it. Never mind. Randy, welcome. Join us on Ask the Tech Guys.
Hello.
Hello, Randy. Where are you calling from?
Florida. Sarasota, Florida.
Beautiful Sarasota, Florida. What's up?
Two things. First of all, I called a few weeks ago about the universal control, and I finally found what worked. We decided to paint in the room, so I had to take everything down and put it back together. When I put it back together, I stacked the two minis on top of each other, and now it seems to work pretty well. So,
what do you think? What do you think you fixed?
Well, I think I had them. They were separated. They were on both, ends of the monitor. And maybe the distance or whatever was in between.
So having them next to each other did it.
Yeah. But my primary question is photography. We're going to South Africa in a few weeks to do safari stuff.
How fun.
And I really I can't carry my heavy, SLR.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid of dropping my phone and having an elephant crush it.
Fair enough.
So do you recommend some type of a point and shoot type camera, which is, less expensive than the phone? If I lose it, I lose it. But
golly, I mean, I know if I were going, I would be bringing the longest lenses I have in my arsenal, because you're not going to go right up to the lion and say, "Can I shoot your photo?"
No.
But there are point and shoots with a lot of zoom that would probably work fine. Yeah, and the other thing is you can get point and shoots that are a little more dust proof. I'm a Pentax or Olympus fan. Do you want interchangeable lenses, or you just want one body, one?
This is just for for memories and that kind of stuff. So I don't have to get the best pictures, but I want something which is at least not totally blurred.
Yeah. I'm just thinking what the best best quality point and shoot would be for that. Yeah, because the nice thing about point and shoots, they have smaller sensors, which means you don't have to have a giant lens. You can have a lens that has 10x zoom that is really quite pocketable. I've always carried a Pentax wwaterproof camera with me. Let me see it goes from 28 to 140 millimeters. These WG90s, the latest one of these. These are dust proof, waterproof. They give you 16 megapixels, so it's better than your smartphone. And they give you a big zoom, 140 millimeters.
Oh, wow.
That's probably adequate to capture the line.
Look at that thing. That's
Isn't
so
it cool looking?
looking.
And this is easily pocketable. So I've used earlier models of this, and I've been very happy with these. So that's certainly one choice that I would consider. I'm on the DP review site. Hallelujah, DP review has been saved. So they seem to like it. Let me see what the reviews say here. This came out a year ago. Take anywhere, rugged compact camera. Ricoh owns Pentax now, so that's why the Ricoh cameras and the Pentax have been kind of merged together in capability. I think that would be my first choice. And that's a pretty lightweight, easy to carry camera. The image quality is good. It's great, really. It's better than your smartphone. Any other recommendations? Let's see. We're looking at the chat room.
Yeah, the wire cutter has a recommendation, but it is a very expensive Sony camera.
Sony makes excellent. Yeah.
It'd be a similar size to an SLR, so I'm not quite sure how heavy it is.
I don't think that would save you anything. This Pentax is pocketable.
Yeah.
It's that small. So in the old days, this has changed a lot. In the old days, a serious photographer would always have his big DSLR with the big long lenses, and then have a little pocket point and shoot. Used to be the Canon was very popular. I don't think they even make them anymore. That you'd carry around because you didn't want to always be lugging around your stuff. For me, that was the Pentax. I would carry that little Pentax around with me. Somebody's recommending the RX100 Mark VI. You can get a Mark IV or 5 still, I think, that are less. What's the zoom on the RX100?
Bigger than a pack of playing cards.
Yeah, these I think they have a 1-inch sensor. They're quite nice. Let me just see. There's even a 7 now. These are Sony Cyber Shots. Remember the Cyber Shot?
It says 8.3x zoom lens.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think a lot of people like this. This was another very popular choice when it came to pocket point and shoot cameras. I like the fact that it has an articulatable LCD. That makes it much easier to take shots from the waist and so forth. It's a 1-inch sensor, 200 millimeter equivalent. Yeah, this is probably the one I'd get. These are notoriously good. 20 megapixels, stacked CMOS sensor. Sony makes the sensors in many of the very, very high end cameras. Not cheap. It's over $1,000, but 85% review from DP Review. It's a few years old. This came out about 5 years ago. There may be a newer one even than the 7. I don't know. But yeah, I think this is a good choice.
Would you be concerned about anything to pop up? Would that
Sorry?
be an area? It looks like it has the parts which kind of pop up.
Yeah, it has a pop-up flash, which you're never going to use unless the lion really is 6 feet away.
Yeah, in a cave, and you're in the cave with it.
I don't know what that is. That a viewfinder on the
I know.
top
I don't know
there?
what that
That's
other
a
pop-up
weird
part
looking
is.
thing. It might be a pop-up viewfinder. Let me just look on Amazon and see what these.
I'd be worried about getting dirt in there and having it stick or something.
Well, if dirt's your problem, that Pentax is perfect for
Pentax
that.
would be great.
Yeah, see, you can get an older RX. You can still get a 2, 6. The new ones are more expensive. I think look, it depends on your budget, obviously. These are really nice. The RX100s are very, very, very nice cameras. You can see it's got Zeiss glass. Yeah, I would say this if price is no object, that's a good way to go. And again, you can get a lower model, an older model for less. And those are all very good.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime trip, so.
Well, that's exactly why I would take my longest, biggest, heaviest lenses. But I don't blame you. I think you're probably right that's going to be, you're going to regret
Unwieldy,
doing that. Yeah. But telephoto is, of course, a must. Now, this is 200 millimeters, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Right. Here is from Artings, which I think does a good job. The 4 best point-and-shoot cameras, and this is from this year, spring of 2024. Let's see what they liked at Artings.
It looks like the RX107 is the one that they choose as well.
I would agree. I mean, this is kind of the king of cameras. If you want the ultimate portable, rugged, waterproof camera, I love those Pentaxes. The image quality with this, because it's a 1-inch sensor, it's going to be somewhat better. It's not. You're going to be and there's the other one every pro used to carry, the Canon PowerShot, the G5. They still make that. That's interesting. And for vlogging, the ZV-1. You won't be vlogging. I would say your choice is the RX100 or the Pentax.
All right.
And you could choose depending on budget and needs. The RX100 is not exactly rugged. It's not as vulnerable as your DSLR, but it's not exactly rugged.
All right. Well, thank you for the suggestions.
Stay tuned. In half an hour, Chris Marquardt will join us, and I'll ask him what he uses for his quick point and shoot and what he would take to Africa for a safari. Where are you going?
We're going to South Africa, and then we're going to Botswana and Zimbabwe.
Trip of a lifetime, it sounds like.
Yes.
I've always wanted to do this. Our travel agent is begging us. She said, "You will never forget it." I said, "Okay, but someday soon." We're not in exactly the budget to do this, but is it you go intense, like glamping through the?
Well, when we decided to do it, we wanted to do it comfortable. So it's a high-end type thing, a small group.
Sounds great.
So it was a few days in Cape Town, then we fly from the different, I guess, lodges. And we'll stay the other 10th.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic. Have a great trip. I want to see pictures when you get back.
All right.
Enjoy.
Take
Thank you.
care. Somebody's suggesting you could just rent good ones and insure them. And that way when the lion eats it,
Then you can say, look, the lion
the
ate it.
lion ate it. What am I going to do?
What do you do?
What are you going to do?
I hate it when that happens.
The pronunciation of Zeiss is Zeiss.
Zeiss.
Zeiss? I always said Zeiss.
Because
Zeiss.
Die Zeit is the site.
Die Zeit.
The German
Zeiss. Yeah, the
publication.
Zeitung.
Zeiss.
Well, okay. I'll trust you on that one. Igor is
you can always
probably
consult
a native speaker.
Michael.
I
Zeiss.
will. What should we do next?
I want to pick up on another phone caller.
Yes.
Remember, phone caller, press *6.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, what's your first name and where are you calling from?
This is Becky calling from Denver.
Hi, Becky.
Hi, Becky from Denver.
Welcome. What's up?
Thanks. Nice to talk to you guys. First I want to say I'm a club member. I'm also a first-time caller,
Hey,
and I'm a TWiT live viewer since 2012.
you
Wow.
check
And I
all
want to
the
thank you for
boxes.
continuing the live viewing, because we live viewers, even though we're not always watching, we might be doing other things and just listening, but it's nice to feel part of the studio by getting to watch live.
I
So
agree.
The
I
other
agree.
reason I'm happy that I was able to call today is because you just had on another woman caller,
Woo, two
and
in
you
a
don't
row.
have enough women callers.
I agree,
so
Becky.
I thought, let's get 2 in a row.
Amen.
Let's get 3 in a row. Let's keep going.
Okay. Anyway, I'm calling on something that you might know something about, Leo, because you are a Kaiser Permanente member.
I am indeed.
And a friend asked me a question about this today. The other thing, before I give you my question, is another thing I'm involved in that you don't know that there's many that exist anymore is Mac user groups.
Oh, wow.
And I'm in a Mac user group in Denver.
D-Mug.
And this week we had called Mac and Tech.
Mac and
Anyway,
Tech,
we
okay.
had a Joe Kissel on this week talking about online privacy, and I asked him about this too. But Kaiser sent out a letter a couple weeks ago to its members, and I read this letter and I went, what are they talking about? They said on October 25th that Kaiser determined that certain online technology, commonly known as cookies or pixels, installed on our website and mobile applications may have transmitted personal information to our third-party vendors, Google, Microsoft, Bing, and Twitter, when members access the websites or mobile applications. And then they went on to say they didn't get any personal information. And I was just sitting there and going, I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't know if they just, and Joe Kissel thought this too, if they just felt like because of the latest stuff that Congress was talking about with online services, and maybe because there's the Twitter bird on every website, that they felt like they needed to get in touch with people and tell them, oh, none of your personal information got sent out via Pixel or...
So here's what the technology can do. It can merely see that you were on the Kaiser site. So Kaiser probably had to do this because that's a violation of HIPAA, because it revealed that you were a Kaiser customer to a third party. That's all it revealed, that this IP address is a Kaiser customer. Kaiser is what's it called, an HMO, health maintenance organization. It's a health insurer that provides our health insurance and our health protection. I have to say, Kaiser's up to something, though. I just went to the Kaiser app, and you might see this says, Kaiser Permanente uses tracking technologies in this application and may share data with its third parties. In other words, they haven't stopped to enhance your experience. Well, thank you for enhancing my experience. By the way, you cannot say no. By using this application, you agree to use these technologies as described in our privacy statement. Furthermore, I got a blocking message about a month ago from Kaiser that I had to agree to this sharing. So there's something going on at Kaiser. Maybe, you know.
Well, I do have to say,
Go ahead.
I do have to say that a friend of mine texted me today because I had talked with her about this, and I told her, I don't even know what they're talking about. Cookies, everybody has them. But she said she's now starting to get this from other vendors.
Yeah.
And she didn't tell me who, but I don't know if this is just a general thing that companies are suddenly feeling like they have to send out.
That's what I think it is. I don't think this is anything new. I think that recent scrutiny and government regulations, and by the way, new laws like the California Privacy Act, a new one just passed, which is, I think, really good news. It hasn't been signed by the governor yet in Vermont. This data privacy law is very aggressive. It allows residents of Vermont to sue companies for collecting or sharing sensitive data without consent. So now it's not the law yet in Vermont. The governor hasn't signed it. Unknown whether he will sign it. Tech companies are up in arms. But these state laws, there's no federal law yet. There is HIPAA, but there's no federal law. But these state laws are starting to become problems for these companies. And I think they're being proactive, saying, well, you know, we are going to be required to get consent sooner or later in Vermont for sure, in California and other states. So we're going to go ahead and turn these things on. It's not that they're doing anything new.
It just worries me.
Yeah.
It just worries me that this will start many people worrying about cookies in general.
Well, they are worried, and I'm not completely against them being worried about cookies, third-party cookies. Remember, Google was going to eliminate third-party cookies in Chrome.
Cookies, right.
Yeah, that's the ones that you care about. You don't care if Kaiser knows you're a Kaiser member. You care if Pfizer knows you're a Kaiser member, and if Pfizer now, the real question for me is why is Kaiser embedding tracking links in their Kaiser website and their Kaiser app? That to me is the bigger problem. Why are they doing this? And I think it is.
Why are they mentioning pixels?
Well, that's just another way of doing it. That's a worse way of doing it. So, you know, when you get an email sometimes, or when you go to a website, there is a 1-by-1 pixel. It's invisible. That is actually an image from a third-party site. It's the same thing as putting a Facebook like button on or other third-party. It's the same thing as a third-party cookie. The whole idea is that the person who has put a tracking pixel on your website or on your app is in effect getting access to the information that you are on that website and any other information your browser will send over. By the way, that can be used to fingerprint you because your browser, when queried, and anybody with a tracking pixel on there can do this, will say, for instance, what your screen resolution is, what extensions you have, a variety of stuff that browsers, I guess, say, well, we got to tell the website that because they need to know. But in aggregate, if you get 20 of these data points, it pretty much can say, that's Becky, by the way. Oh, that's Becky. So that's the real concern of third-party cookies in general and tracking pixels specifically, is it can be used to fingerprint you. And then a third party, not Kaiser. Kaiser knows everything they want to know about you. They know your blood type, Becky. They should. They're your healthcare provider. But what's disturbing to me is that they are putting any kind of tracking on their app or website. That should not be happening. And they're going to say, well,
I'm blocking all third-party cookies.
You should.
So I'm not worried about that. I use ad blockers for that.
Yeah,
but I know that other people who will really be concerned.
Right. And I understand you're also saying that this is the reason we see those cookie pop-ups everywhere now, that some of this concern is overblown. But that's a really good example of why third-party cookies and tracking pixels are problematic in the healthcare site.
Yeah.
Because that's your, do I want Pfizer to know that what drugs I'm taking so they can send me ads for their versions of that drug? No, I don't think so. Healthcare is a very sensitive issue. If all of a sudden I get a cancer diagnosis and I start getting emails from chemo providers, that's upsetting. So I can understand why this is an issue. My real question is, what are you doing, Kaiser? You're not being forthright on this. Why are we're getting alerted, not because they have never done this before and they're starting something new. We're getting alerted because the law of the land is starting to change.
To me, the most upsetting aspect of this, I've just kind of figured out the whole timeline. It goes back to 2022. In 2022, that is when the markup and an independent organization came together and discovered that many of the top 100 hospitals in America were sharing this data using, pixel tracking. Then in 2023, the mental health startup Cerebral got in trouble when they admitted that they had used or shared private health information with Facebook, Google, TikTok, and others. And then, as is the way of these large companies and kind of a herd mentality, after that disclosure to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, other companies had to follow suit and start telling the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, oh, we looked at our code too, and we found that exact same thing. So these companies either didn't know, which is what they will probably say, or knew and didn't think that it was a violation. But as more companies started to say, oh, we found this, it was sharing with a third party, and this does violate HIPAA according to the HHS, then more companies started following suit and telling everyone that was the case. Why? Because then they could protect themselves from lawsuits. So this has been going since 2022, and we're just now hearing from Kaiser that they too had at one point had code that was sharing that information with third parties.
In fact, if you read their privacy statement, which I would suggest reading, they talk about this and they say who's they're sharing it with. They talk about what they call web beacons, which is the same thing as tracking pixels. Web beacons are used in conjunction with persistent cookies. Our mobile applications, for instance, contain software development kits that may collect and transmit information back to us or third-party partners about the usage of the mobile application or other applications in your device. They say it's that it's anonymized, right? It's that your identity is removed. But we've also seen lots of evidence that de-anonymization is not very effective. I am not, and Joe's not either, like a adamant privacy Nazi, right? But, so I don't think Kaiser's doing anything they haven't always done. I think they're proactively warning us because they realize times are changing. I think, they say you can block this, which you can, and you are, Becky, but your functionality may be limited. Block it. Because the reason you block it is not merely to protect your privacy, but to send them a signal that this is wrong and you're not going to play this stupid game, right? But you're right about there are a lot of people who don't run ad blockers. I was kind of heartened by the news last month that 52% of Americans use ad blockers. I thought, wow, I guess the message is penetrating. Kaiser may use third-party vendor to help us manage some of our email and voice text messaging communications with you. I mean, read the privacy statement. It's quite long. And they have to, as this is the good news about those laws, reveal everything they do. And they claim that we're anonymizing it, but we may also disclose your personal information in a variety of ways when we believe in good faith that disclosure is necessary to protect our rights, protect you or others safely from threats, harm, or imminent harm, investigate fraud or activity in violation of the law, or respond to the lawful request, keep the site secure. If Kaiser's involved in a merger, acquisition, or sale of all of its portions of assets, you'll be notified by mail and a prominent notice of any change of ownership. But you can opt out. They say it'll harm functionality. Look at the size of this thing.
Jeez Louise.
The stuff they collect, it's worth reading it. I don't know. By the way, this is last revised in October of 2021. So that proves that probably was that study right about that same time, but also proves they've been doing this for at least 3 years. I wouldn't worry about it. If Becky, when we had kids, For some reason, all of a sudden, we got lots of ads for Pampers, and the hospital sells that information. They have forever, for years.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about it. I just, when I heard from a friend today that she's starting to see more of those from other organizations, and you had some other woman on today, I thought, I have not called. I haven't.
I'm glad you called.
Glad you did.
Had something to call about, so I just wanted to call in today. And I also just want to say I'm pitching the club to as many people as I can.
Thank you so much.
And I love all your shows. And to Rod Pyle, I just want to say that I love This Week in Space, and I've seen him now 2 weeks in a row on The Unexplained with William Shatner.
Yes, he likes that. He does that. Hey, it's such a pleasure, Becky. Bless you. Thank you for watching. We love our live viewers. I'm glad we were able to come to a good solution and put it on YouTube, which makes it a lot easier to watch. We're so glad you joined the club. Thank you for your support.
I sit here every Sunday afternoon and put TWiT on my main television so that I can sit down and actually watch This Week in Tech.
I love that. The reason I got into radio in the first place 50 years ago is because it's a medium that accompanies you in your life, right? We keep you company. And I love that. And I want to keep doing that as long as we can. And I'm so glad, I'm so grateful to know that you're, as they used to say in the old TV shows, thank you for inviting us into your living room.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it, Becky.
It's an honor.
It is an honor.
Well, thanks very much. I'm very glad to be able to speak to you guys today.
Thank you.
And I'll let you get on to other calls.
All right.
Thanks.
Yeah, there's already a big lobbying effort to keep the government of Vermont from signing that privacy bill.
Really?
A number of businesses like Orvis, which is in Vermont, Orvis said the state senator is limiting data collection to put Vermont businesses at a significant, if not crippling, disadvantage. LL Bean's opposing a similar privacy bill in Maine. So we shall see what happens. There's a good article today in Politico on the Vermont data privacy law, which has passed the assembly there, or the state lawmakers, but does not yet have the signature of the governor. And big tech is coming in and saying, hold on there.
Please, just a moment here.
Please. I understand it's going to hurt your business. I think it would be nice to find a way to do a business without invading your customers' privacies.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? There's a thought. There's an idea. We refuse. We are often asked to put tracking pixels, web beacons in our feeds and so forth. We a lot of advertisers, we've lost some big agencies because we won't do it. A lot of advertisers have settled, though, for kind of a halfway that we've agreed upon, which is we put, if you download our shows, you go through a third party. I can't remember who it is these days. Is it Podsites? I think it is. Or maybe it used to be Chartable. Anyway, you go through a third party, and they aggregate the IP addresses of people down. That's all they know, by the way. We don't know anything else about you. The IP addresses of the machines that downloaded the show, your phones, your laptops, whatever. And then, independently, our sponsors, many of them, not all of them, some of our sponsors, will put a web beacon, a tracking pixel on their website, which does the same thing, collects all those addresses. Now, what we don't do is give those addresses to the advertiser, nor does the advertiser give his addresses to us. The third party is like an escrow service. It preserves privacy, compares them, doesn't give information to either side, and then tells the advertiser 56% of the IP addresses that got downloaded the show went to your website. And for some advertisers, that's sufficient. That's what they want. They want some sort of, did our ad work, is what they want to know. And that's the best we can do for them. We've lost many advertisers because that's all we'll do for them. Many advertisers want direct tracking pixels. It's one of the reasons a lot of advertisers refuse to buy independent podcasts like ours, RSS-based podcasts. Instead, will only buy podcasts that come off your Amazon app or your Spotify app, because then they don't have to use tracking pixels. They know. They have everything they need to know. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the reasons we go to you and say, can you join the club? Because there's a lot of pressure these days from advertisers that want to know more and more. And I would just say to every business in America, if you can find a way to make a living without invading the privacy of your customers, you might consider that. Might just want to try that. I know it's anti-American for me to say that. You know what? I'm in favor of the Americans, not the American businesses.
Right.
Let's see if we could figure out a way to do that. John Ashley, should we take let's take a little break.
Let's take a little break.
And then we will come back. We have lots more calls, lots more to talk about. You're watching Ask the Tech Guys with Mikah Sargent, Leo Laporte, and our fine advertiser, One Big Think. I love this name, but you got to know what it is. It's the number 1, BIGTHINK.com. And what does One Big Think do? Well, if you're a big company or a little company, we were just talking about this, that the law now requires you in many cases to be careful about privacy, security, compliance. Big companies can afford to have a data protection officer, a DPO, a full-time staff member that will keep an eye on all these things. Regulations, it's not just in the U.S., it's all over the world, are in constant flux. There's new regulations like that Vermont law. Organizations are forced to embrace concepts like, and I encourage them to do so, privacy by design, bravo, transparency, purpose limitation, data minimization, and data subject rights. You know that you have to. Problem is, if you're a medium-sized business, you also know that's a hard thing to do. Most mid-sized, high-growth organizations are trying to focus on getting the job done, focus on their core offerings. They don't have the volume of work to keep a full-time privacy. And by the way, now AI, same thing, or AI team busy, nor can they honestly compete in the market for the top talent to fill those jobs, right? You're trying to compete against Microsoft and Facebook. It's pretty hard if you're a medium-sized business. That's why I love One Big Think. With One Big Think services, you get a DPO. You're guided by an experienced executive. You get the capacity and abilities of a data protection officer. Just in case you don't know, that's an enterprise security leadership role responsible for overseeing data protection strategy compliance and implementation so that you're compliant with CCPA, CPRA, GDPR, and all of these new privacy regulations. The role includes expert knowledge of data protection law and practices, broad and deep information privacy, compliance, and data processing skill sets across all industries. This person becomes your ally with a complete understanding of IT infrastructure technologies, technical and organizational structures in your industry, so they can come in and they can help you get the job done with minimum distraction for you. And of course, from One Big Think, you get excellent management skills and the ability to interface easily with internal staff at all levels. This is what you want. An AI expert, yes, One Big Think's AI compliance service is designed to integrate with your organization's privacy program and provide the required governance, compliance, and assessment activities under these regulations. They'll even help you raise awareness of and train staff on AI regulatory requirements and issues. It's a changing world. You need a partner. You need somebody who can help you navigate these tough new regulations. To learn more about how to give your organization sustainable privacy and AI compliance, got to go to onebigthink.com. That's the number 1, BIGTHINK, onebigthink.com. And, in the context of what we were just talking about, this is a responsible company's doing this, right? An irresponsible company goes, we'll wait till we get sued.
Yeah.
No, responsible companies go to onebigthink.com and handle it. Just handle it now. And in the long run, it's good for your business. It's good for your customers. And you should do it. That's all I have to say. Thank you. I'll get off my soapbox now. We will take another what?
How about an email?
Email. Da, 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 da.
So good. Once a week I stretch. Only one arm. Maybe you can put the mailbox on the other side sometime, and then I'll get the other arm. No, actually, I do Tai Chi now,
Yeah.
And there is a wonderful crane sunning its wings where you do this. That feels so good.
That does feel good.
Does that feel good? Everybody, just sun your wings for a moment.
Sun your wings.
Ian writes, hi, Ian. He even puts his phone number in here.
Oh, well, we won't be calling.
I don't have an answer for Ian, though.
Uh-oh.
I can just tell from the subject.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
How to merge Google Workspace email with free Gmail. Okay, so to have a professional email, Ian at mygreatcompany.com, I had to purchase a Google Workspace account because my cPanel email that was being sent and received to a free Gmail account was running into authentication problems due to Gmail's new DKIM standards.
Leo has thoughts for those listening. He's doing some gestures of frustration.
Don't buy email from Google. Buy it from, well, a good email company like our sponsor, Fastmail. But we use, corporate.
Yeah, we do. We do use Workspace.
TWiT.tv is Google Workspace. I have decades of email, YouTube videos, Google Photos, G Drive data on my free Google account, of course. And now I'm finding that the new Google Workspace account is completely different. It's a new account. And in order to merge it with my original free Google account requires tedious merging of many apps individually. I would just like to send and receive mail from my Workspace account to my free Gmail account to avoid all this merge stuff. Oh, well, you could do that.
Yeah, that's easy.
What's the best way to do it? Will I run into authentication problems? For instance, should I forward mail, fetch mail, etc.? So we have, in fact, I'm in your same boat. TWiT's email, when you email at twit.tv, like ATG at twit.tv, for example, goes into a Google Workspace account. But I don't want to log in to my Google Workspace account. In fact, I have a free Gmail account, but I also have our sponsor Fastmail account. This will work in either case. Forward the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Forward the mail. Now, Gmail will allow you to have multiple email aliases. So when you send mail, you want to make sure that it's being sent from your Google Workspace email address.
Mm-hmm.
That will solve DKIM, SPF, DMARC, all of the authentication problems because Google will be sending it. So use Google's outbound mail program and tell it my personality, my alias is my Workspace account, even though I am sitting in my Gmail, my free account, right?
Yep.
I do the same thing with Fastmail. You should be able to do it with any email program, which is fetch the mail from somewhere else. And then if you respond to the mail, tell it, incidentally,
this is how I'd like to send it.
This is coming, pretend this is coming from the other account. I don't think it will use, if you're using Gmail, it doesn't really matter. But Fastmail will be the one sending it out.
Yeah.
But it'll be sent out, the reply to field will be Leo at twit.tv. So, in fact, here's I can show you my Fastmail account. And you'll see what I've done is using organizational tools. I have my regular email. That's just the regular email address. And here's my TWiT email. So this is all stuff that's gone to TWiT, Leo at twit.tv. You can see right there. If I reply to it, what I want to do, and if I don't choose this, I have to go down and choose Leo at twit.tv as one of the reply to addresses. Actually, I don't see that here, but in Gmail, you would have this as one of your aliases, right? And you can even make that the default. So that way, that's the whole idea of why you might have this choose box. What's the outbound email coming from? I just don't think I've set up twit.tv. But for you, you'd want to. So just in this case, Fastmail goes out and fetches the email. If you're on a Workspace and Gmail account, you can have it either way. You can say, fetch the email from my Workspace account, or you can say to the Workspace account, forward the email to my regular account.
Yeah.
I think it might be better to fetch it because then you wouldn't have all that forwarding stuff in
And
there.
I wonder why, because for me, what I have is just an email application that I use, independent.
Yeah.
And I'm logged into my work account.
Oh, yeah,
and
you
my
can do
personal
that.
Accounts. And then if mail comes in and it goes,
That is
because
the
sometimes I'll
easiest
get
way to
mail
do
to Mikah at chihuahua.coffee from a PR person, right? And I see that and I choose in the reply field, because I'm logged into Mikah at twit.tv, that email address as the reply, then that also works. So there are multiple ways to do this for sure.
Igor says, Leo, you just showed all your secret email addresses. Did you notice how long that
So
list
many.
was? because that's one of the nice things about Fastmail. Every domain that I have has an email address, so I can respond from any of those domains. Yeah, you do it the smart way.
Yeah.
I made it more complicated. I'm not sure. I guess I just all want it. I don't know. You're right. Just do it your way.
Just
have
use
multiple
a mail
accounts.
App. Yeah, have multiple accounts.
Oh, that's why. So I can use my webmail. That's why I do it.
Yeah, because that's the only way to use it with the web.
Yeah. That's why I do it. Have it your way. All right. That was fun. Should we do that again?
Let's share their phone number. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Do you want to do another email?
867-5309.
Hi, Jenny. It's me, Leo. Sorry.
What was the question?
Do you want to do another email, or do you want to go to Chris Marquardt, who's ready right now?
Well, let's talk photos.
Photos.
After one brief pause, take a breath. That's Mikah Sargent. I'm Leo Laporte. And you, Becky, are watching Ask the Tech Guys. And I'm sure more than just Becky, but I'm glad Becky's watching. Chris Marquardt is our photo guy. He does those great photo expeditions all over the world at discoverthetopfloor.com. He's written many wonderful books on photography, including my favorite film photography book and wide-angle photography book. He's also, of course, an expert on coaching and helping people take better photographs. He joins us from the Viewfinder Villa, Mr. Chris Marquardt. Hello, Chris.
Do we have you muted, or do you have you muted?
Is this better?
Yeah.
Moin, moin.
Hello.
Wrong button. Sorry.
Every button
How are you,
has
gentlemen?
a right button and a wrong button. I'm great. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing good.
Take a picture of
Very
Chris
good.
right now.
I just returned from 1 week of teaching photography, the annual Abbey workshop.
Fun.
I'm all fired up.
That sounds delightful.
Do you find
I'm a
that
bit tired from
people
the
are
week.
coming to photography still? I worry that photography might be one of those things that AI and point and shoot cameras, camera phones has kind of hurt the field a little bit.
You know what? During this entire week of photography, and I'm talking 24/7 photography, people being up at night, being out with flashes, lighting up the church around the corner, that kind of stuff.
Oh, fun.
We didn't see a single AI picture. People are loving photography. They love to have their cameras to capture a moment. And the AI photos have their place. They're really good, but the people come to a photo workshop to learn a skill, and you do not learn a skill by, at least not that kind of a skill by prompting a system. I don't mind AI. I love it, but this is photography, and photography is still something where you try to create art. You know?
I think that's what's going to happen in this AI era. I say this all the time because I play chess. And there was a great fear 20 years ago when the first chess computers started beating the best humans in the world that chess would be dead. Like, well, chess is solved. There's no point in playing it anymore. And it turned out, no, not at all. There's still great pleasure in watching humans play. We don't want to watch machines play each other,
right.
But watching humans play and playing another human. Art will survive whether a computer can make it or not. We love making music. We love painting. We love taking pictures. And that's what this segment is all about, celebrating. What was our assignment this week, Chris?
Last assignment was the tough assignment.
Tough. And did you get any wonderful Flickr photos?
Yes. We have some great submissions here. And I picked 3, and let's have a look at them. First one is by Ron Hikes 816 Cali Scenes. It's a flower.
But
and
what's
it's
tough
a little
about that
tough flower. Well, look at the surroundings.
Oh,
there's like a bridge in the background. There's
all around
some human stuff. Oh, that doesn't look like a weed. That looks beautiful.
It's a beautiful flower. Surviving in a field of weeds. Yes. I love it.
So that one, I like this a lot. It's a very simple photo, like the bouquet, the sky and the bouquet, and it just works for me. So second one. Tough Day at the Office, which is by Demi Lente. And I like the irony in this because, of course, what we're looking at is a lady on a beach in the sun.
Nice.
And there's nothing really tough about that. Unless you have a sun allergy, then that's probably
Or, your skin will get tough over time if you keep putting it out in the sun like that.
That's true. That's a good point.
Tough and crispy. All right. And last but not least, this one from Mitch XX, Raven and Great Horned Owl. Who's tougher? Ooh. So this is what happens when you introduce two subjects and some form of communication between them. So there's the crow, there's the owl. They're sitting on the roof. They're looking at each other. I'm pretty sure there's like 100 different speech bubbles that you can put.
This
on
is a
that
meme
picture,
for sure.
right?
Yeah.
Can I ask you, Chris, if you had taken this photo, would you consider editing out the poo?
Yes, I would have.
Or is it?
It's birds. It's birds.
Right. No, I understand. So for me, I found that distracting and I would do that. However, that does creep into an area of it not being the real moment. And so I was just curious, you as a photographer who's been doing this for as long as you have, if you feel like that's part of the photograph for you, that realism of, well, there's some bird poop.
Well, it is realism. And I think I'd probably not take it out. It adds a bit of interest. Of course, it might disgust a few people, but hey, it's nature. So
would it be wrong to take it out? I guess would be the next question.
Well, it depends. In these kind of situations, what I will often do is, if I'm not sure, I'll make two versions of it, one with the poop and one without it, and then just compare them and decide by gut feel. Mm-hmm. So that would be my approach.
That's a nice idea.
We did have someone who gave us a call earlier, and they are planning on going to South Africa on a safari. And they were asking about what point and shoot camera they should take with them. Now, they specifically were looking for a point and shoot camera as opposed to something like a DSLR or just using their phone because they didn't want their phone to get stomped on by an elephant, was quite literally what they said. Do you have a modern point and shoot recommendation?
So the one camera that I usually recommend is, and it doesn't have a zoom lens or anything, has a fixed lens. It's the Ricoh GR3, which is very small, fits in a pocket, but has really, really amazing image quality.
Nice.
So have a look at that. It, again, fixed lens, I think 35 millimeters equivalent. So you got to be okay with having one focal length and then using your feet to get closer to things. But other than that, that's a perfect camera for me to carry around and take high quality snapshots.
I have also, there's a little bit of poop in this version of picture that I took.
I love that.
In the Galapagos of a similar confrontation
I love that.
I think it's a tern and a sea lion.
That's
sometimes
fantastic.
Animals are very interesting.
The bird just looks like, whoa, what is up with you right now?
Yeah, in fact, that's exactly what happened. The bird just stood his ground and the sea lion backed down.
I love that. The bird's like, can you calm down?
Again, communication. There's a story there. Yes. There's two things communicating with each other. So,
I love it.
But I did not offer that because I didn't take that this past 3 weeks. That's right. The whole point of these photo assignments is to get you out, taking pictures, and excuse, right, for using your camera. Now, Chris,
you did take a picture though. And I want to have a quick look at that because you submitted one for this assignment
for tough.
For tough, and
it's a little cropped at the top there. It's not
black and white photo. Oh, something happened here.
Because I guarantee you can see the top of that guy's head.
Yes, Leo said I did not.
I did not cut his head off. Honest.
There we go. This is better. All right. So
I took this yesterday.
Yeah, perfect.
Last minute, Leo, huh?
Yeah, but what I like is first of all, it's black and white, which lets you concentrate on the subjects really well. So there's the tough guy, the tough dog, tough vehicle. I don't know, but just imagine that be a person with like a bright red dress on or something in the background. That would be so distracting. So having these two subjects there, again, sort of a story there, or maybe even multiple stories there, nothing that distracts from them. Perfect. The black and white is a perfect choice for this.
Thank you.
I really like this.
I really enjoyed. We have a annual photo or a car show rather called American Graffiti Days, and that's a great opportunity to take some fun pictures. So I had fun.
Absolutely.
The other thing though that I've been doing, which is crazy, but I bought my Holy Grail lens. The Grail lens, they call
it.
Which one? As you know, I've kind of I went from being a Canon shooter to a Sony shooter, and I've kind of even moved on from Sony now. I'm only shooting Leica. I have a Leica Q2, and I recently got an M series Leica, an M11, and gosh darn it, it's an expensive hobby, but you had a nice 50 millimeter lens. I thought, well, I'm gonna shoot with this, but then I kept looking at this f.95 lens. Look at the size of that.
Which one you're talking about?
f.95. Now here's the problem with it. If you get a lens that's that fast, look how big that aperture is. You want to always shoot with the aperture wide open. But as soon as you go out in daylight, because and man, that's how I shot.
Too much light.
There's too much light. So I got, and you've always recommended ND filters. And I got a variable. I shot that one actually with a 6, an ND6, which is 3 stops. But I got recently a variable ND filter so that I can shoot this indoors and out. And now I can't get it on. So, but the idea is so that I can keep it wide open, even in broad daylight. And you know, it's brought back the fun for me in photography. I have to say, I'm really enjoying.
I usually tell people, hey, learn to use what you have, because that will make you a better photographer. But then I'm absolutely with you. Sometimes a new piece of equipment can make all the difference and give you motivation back and make you go out again. So good on you.
Ridiculously expensive. Now I bought it used. I did not buy it new because it is absolutely out of control expensive.
Yes,
but I was able to find a good. Yeah, it's just a Leica. But I was able to find a good deal on it, and so I've been shooting this wide open. And what's great is the bokeh is phenomenal on it, and so it's
gorgeous. Yeah.
So you get shots like that one of the guy and his dog, and the backgrounds are just so creamy,
and creamy bokeh in the background.
I really love it. Thank you, Chris Marquardt. Now go to the bowl and select for us.
Is here. I put new words in there, and I'm pulling one out. And this is right up my alley. Minimalist.
Minimalist.
So don't put too many things in your photos.
Minimalist. All right. Well, here's the way this works. You've got 4 weeks now. We had 3 weeks in the last one because time scheduling, but 4 weeks now. Chris will be back in 4 weeks to take a picture or pictures illustrating the idea minimalist. Now, how does this work? So you, first of all, get out there and take pictures. That's the inspiration. Get out there and take pictures, because it has to be something you take from now till 4 weeks from now. If you get one, you go, dang, that's it. I nailed it. Then upload it to Flickr. It's free to join. Flickr is our favorite photo sharing site. Costs you nothing to join. And once it's there, you want to tag it. And in this case, you want to tag it with TG for Tech Guy, and then Minimalist for the subject matter. Once you've done that, you can submit it to the Tech Guy group. The group is wonderful. We are now 14,000 strong group of photographers and listeners. And I was just looking at Flickr is now celebrating its 20th anniversary. It was started in 2004, and I was just looking. I joined in 2005. Probably you too, Chris. Members
somewhere around that
very beginning, yeah. But we're really happy to keep using it. So tag it TG Minimalist. Are you still doing the AI? Are you allowing people to do AI? Do we get any AI?
We're not getting that many submissions. None for this one. So it shows that people want to take photos and
That's
not
the whole
make
point.
photos for a computer. Yes.
So TG Minimalist uploaded. Renee Silverman, our wonderful moderator, a great photographer in her own right, will say thank you. I appreciate the submission, and it's in the pool.
It's there.
And then Chris will pick 3, as he did. Sometimes he gives me a little extra mention, and talk about it in 4 weeks. TG Minimalist. Right. We had some great shots. It was really fun this week, or this month, I should say. Not the only owl, by the way. Couple of birds. Couple of 3 birds.
Those tough birds.
Thank you, Mr. Marquardt.
Thanks so much.
Have a wonderful week.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
You too.
And discoverthetopfloor.com if you want to join Chris on a photo expedition. He's got all sorts. Take care, Chris.
Bye-bye.
14,023 members, 7.7 thousand photos, 7,700 photos, 330 discussions, and 1 great moderator, Renee Silverman. Thank you, Renee, for the work you do. And she always has a new banner shot, too, which is fun.
Oh, that is fun.
Yeah, that's the cat from last month.
I love
the
that.
kitty cat from last month.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. That's a good photo.
Yeah.
I think I actually downloaded that photo.
Yeah. All right. By the way, this group, the Tech Guy Group, has been going on since 2007. So 17 years. May 25th, 2007. Our 17th birthday is coming up this week.
Holy moly.
Wow. I guess we started doing these reviews early on in the Tech Guy show. All right. Your choice.
Ooh, how about a phone caller?
How about a phone caller?
How about it? How now? Brown cow.
Caller, star 6
remember,
to unmute.
yes, star 6 to unmute yourself.
Oh, by the way, we just got an email from Mike who said, you missed the point of the woman on the beach. There were huge tire tracks in the sand near her head. I missed that.
That's okay. Yeah, that's scary.
That's scary. Thank you, Mike, for that update. What city?
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Hello.
it's our 3rd woman on the show. Yay. What's your first name?
Hey.
Where are you calling from?
This is Camille again. I talked to you guys a couple weeks ago.
Hi,
from
Camille.
Pennsylvania. How
Welcome
are you?
back.
Hi.
What's up?
Hi. I hope you can hear me. It's kind of windy. I wondered, Leo, have you ever had Ben Gertzel on any of your shows?
I don't even know the name. Who is Ben Gertzel?
You don't know Ben Gertzel. He's the Singularity Net guy. What is it called? OpenCog Hyperion. He's building the AGI. He says we're 3 to 8 years away.
Oh, well, I better get him on then because we're running out of time. Who does he work for? Does he work for himself or is he?
I think he works with a bunch of people, but I know he did work with Hanson Robotics for Sophia.
Nice. And
So
he's
he
currently at
was people with
singularitynet.io, it says on his LinkedIn profile.
And just a couple months ago, he said that it was 3 to 8 years away. But he's looking at it, if I understand correctly, he's saying that it's not one program to rule them all. It's like a program that's really good at this and this one and this one, and then manage each thing.
Managers.
So it's a bunch of tiny programs.
You know, it's funny.
It's pretty interesting.
As much as we talk about AI, I've never really had any AI experts on the shows because I feel like they're a little biased. I don't think, isn't that weird? No. Now, presumably they have expertise. Yeah, so I should have them on.
Yeah.
But they also often have their own angle, one way or the other, about what's happening. And I will definitely, I'm going to look into Ben Gertzel. It's a great recommend. I always am open
it would be awesome to have him with Amy Webb. That'd be really fun.
So
but he actually I heard him a couple months ago. I heard him talk, and he was saying that he could be biased, but that he's part of his things line up with what Ray Kurzweil says. That would be like, I think he's.
I have interviewed Ray Kurzweil.
I don't know.
Not in many years, but years ago. And I think I might have the same resistance to interviewing Ray these days. Everybody's doing their own thing, and I think we are in a wonderful competitive environment. I don't know. Okay. You know what? Maybe we should just do a whole AI show and have people like Ben
I'd really love it.
and Ray and some others on and really have a little debate. Because I don't want to interview just one person. We need to get a bunch of them
multiple perspectives
so that they could say, no,
and
you're
have
wrong.
Amy. She would be great.
Yes. She's
Amy
very
Webb
much,
would be great to have with because
very much
so on
pro-AI,
top of it.
and
it
she's
seems.
very in touch.
Yeah.
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 Very interesting.
And
Well,
I had
thank
a
you.
book thing I wondered.
Yes, Camille.
Guys, I wondered about another book.
Yes.
Have you read? Do you know? I'm sure you know the Dan Brown, the Da Vinci Code series.
Yes.
That whole
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you read the last one?
I
It's
did
from
not.
2017. It's called Origin, and it's an AI one. And it's the last one in the story, but it's super interesting.
I have to
Another
read it.
little AI.
I read the
You
first.
should. I mean,
read the
the
first
other
one.
one-
Yeah.
Oh, the first one's horrid. It's like the worst book of the series. He really improved, or he got some help, I'm thinking, as he went on. But all the other ones were good. Inferno
That's
was
hysterical.
terrifying. It kept bringing up,
Okay.
it brought up memories of watching Children of Men, the movie Children
Yeah,
of Men.
what a movie
Couple that with
is.
Inferno.
Yeah.
Horrible. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
But
all right, I'm
anyway,
going to now
check it out.
admit.
Origin.
I am going to now admit that having read Dan Brown's first book, I thought, well, I'm never reading anything else of his. So it's
Yeah.
good to know that that
Awful.
was a bad start. But the Da
It
Vinci
really
Code was
the other ones
a
are a
huge
pretty
hit.
interesting read.
I thought it was interesting because Opus Dei and the Catholic Church and the, a 2,000-year
Yeah.
conspiracy. And I like the mystery of running around Paris trying to find stuff. Is Robert Langdon in all of the books or?
All of them. I never saw any of the movies or the TV show that they did on the one, but yeah, Robert Langdon's in all of them.
But the writing is
it's a
writing
good
has
series.
improved.
It has. I'm not saying it's like a classic or anything, but the story is good. But the first one, if that's the only one you read, Leo, it's horrid.
Okay,
Stop.
now you've
I didn't
reassured
even want
me.
to finish it.
I will now read some others.
Yeah.
Because
Do it.
I wouldn't.
Did you
I
guys
didn't-
check out The Circle again?
The
I have it.
Circles.
It's in my
Mikah?
list.
Yeah, I have
it's
it on my bookshelf.
I actually bought
Loved
it,
Yeah.
for Audible, but I'm in the middle of a series right now, so it's next.
Well, let's share with Camille
gotcha.
our current reading list. What are you reading?
Well,
yeah.
I'm
Okay,
going.
is it
I think
Twilight?
no, it's not Twilight.
Okay.
I think I already said that I'm going back to the Wheel of Time again.
Oh,
so,
good for you.
Yeah. That,
Oh, I
that
know,
takes
big
time.
fans of that.
Yeah, and that takes time.
I
Oh,
bought
yeah, that's a big one.
on Amazon. They were selling like the complete Wheel of Time on Kindle.
Oh, nice.
So I started listening on Audible. There's something that readers of the Wheel of Time call the slog,
Yes.
which is around book 6. There are 13 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So about halfway through,
And they're huge.
and they're huge. They're all like 40 hours. About halfway through, you get to the slog, which kind of, it's funny. Harry Potter also had a slog where it's like nothing much is happening, and there's a lot of exposition and like, get on with the story, please. And I'm stuck at the slog. So how far have you gotten?
I'm back through it.
You've
for
gone
me,
all the way through.
I don't find any of it to be slog. I genuinely love how
It's a great
how
world.
all of these characters have their own little stories, and I think that part of it is because by audio, I'm going to call it as a verb, by audio booking it instead of reading it, I'm able to do other things.
Yeah,
and so,
that's a good way to get through long books.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about it feeling like a slog. And the payoff is so worth it when it comes to wrapping up in the final 2-3 books, because you have so much rich character for each of the characters and the sort of resolutions that take place. So.
Have you read that, Camille, The Wheel of Time?
I have not, but I know big fans of it. I'm halfway through The Name of the Rose. You had mentioned it there.
What a great book
Halfway through
that
there.
is. Umberto Eco.
Yeah.
That is a
Very, very interesting. I wish I
mystery
spoke Latin.
that takes place in the. Yeah, there's a lot of Latin, isn't there? There's a
I really
mystery.
do,
But
yeah.
Mike and I read Latin, so we'll help you out.
If you need
Oh.
need any assistance, let us know.
It's a mystery that takes
Okay,
place
I'm
in
back.
a 14th century monastery, and our detective is a monk, and it's a wonderful
That
book.
sounds good.
Now, this is the one I'm reading right now, and I have to say, despite the cheesy cover, it's very much a dime novel cover. This series, it won a Hugo Award for Best Novel. Dan Simmons' Hyperion came out in 1989. There are 2 more. I was really nervous. I got to the end of the first one, and it kind of leaves you hanging. I thought, oh, is this going to be like Dune, where each successive book is going to be a little worse? But so far, I'm in the second book they call it the Hyperion Cantos, and it is just as good. So I can recommend this without hesitation. Dan Simmons' Hyperion series. If you like sci-fi, it's very good sci-fi. Yes.
I have a feminism novel from the 70s that's super interesting.
What is feminism? Feminism.
Yeah, a feminism novel, but it's text-based. Actually, I think it was in an Ed Regis book, where they were saying that it is looked at as the positive version of the Brave New World, but it's Marge Piercy. Do you know the author Marge Piercy? It's called Woman on the Edge of Time.
Oh, I will read
Woman on the Edge of Time. The beginning is kind of harsh. But it's super interesting.
So much
70s. Elon should read it because it's the brain chips.
I will read it. So much 70s science fiction is massively sexist and has not stood the age of time. I'm thinking of Robert Heinlein in particular. So it's nice. I would like to read something from that era. Woman on the Edge of Time by Margaret Piercy.
Yeah, she did several. She did a good bit. I also read her He, She, and It. That was like building a golem sort of thing.
I like golems.
I do like golems.
Always a fan of golems.
It was interesting.
Big golem fan, Neil.
Camille, thank you for doing Camille's book club.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm pitching ones for Stacy's. I'm pitching them.
Thank you.
For Stacy's. That'd be super fun.
Thank you.
But hey, get them on. That'd be awesome. I would watch that show.
I will
and you guys have a great day.
I will track him down, Camille. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks.
Our little Camille's book club.
I love it.
It's funny, it's not really our purview to recommend books, but Steve has always done it, and we have a very literate audience. We have Stacy's book club now, so why not? I'm thrilled. What book? Where are you in the Wheel of Time? I'm thrilled that you.
I'm on the last book again. So
wow.
Yeah,
Wow. How long does it take? Because it's huge.
It's huge. I mean, it's taken me a long time to go back through it. I decided to go back through it months ago, and
you're making me feel like I should pick it back up.
I think you should.
Get through the slog. The book 6 slog.
And people ask me, should I skip the slog? No, I promise you that.
Yeah, you can't skip
the resolutions that take place with the character. It's just
I realized that. Yeah, can't skip the slog. Don't skip the slog.
Don't skip the slog.
Speaking of which, let's do
slog
another
is the journey.
What should we do next?
Let's pick up on another caller.
Yes, John Ashley, pick up on another caller, please. *6 to unmute. First name and city, please. Is there a boop or anything that lets them know that we're picked up on them? There's no way that they can know.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello.
That's how you know. You talk and we go, whoa! What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from New City, New York. How are you?
Hi, Jeff. Great. How are you?
A little under the weather. But,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that.
COVID made a return.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I thought it was over.
It's not as bad the second time, I hope.
I had that happen too.
Third time. Holy cow.
I had it, and then I took the stuff that helps you kind of get rid of it, and then it came back anyway, that resurgence. I had that too. That was not fun.
No, not fun. But I'm calling a really quick question, but really quick. I know that mini Atari that you got, I'm the one that told Dickie D to get it, so I know you guys.
I love it. It's so cute. Yeah. I'm going to bring it in and play with it. I've been playing all my old favorite games. It's so cute. Thank you for telling me about that, Ben. I appreciate it.
No problem. So I had a quick question. I travel for work sometimes, and I kind of use my iPad Pro as the streaming device. I hook it into the hotel with an HDMI cable, so I can watch like Netflix and stuff like that. My question is, do they sell a remote control for an iPad or something like that? Like something, or you recommend?
A Bluetooth keyboard would be your in fact, a Bluetooth.
You could get a little bitty Bluetooth.
You could get a little bit Bluetooth keyboard, and also one of Apple. This is the problem: is that the iPad Pro doesn't like most mice, and so the Apple trackpad, it would be your best bet if you're trying to basically run it from a distance. If you're only trying to do play and pause, you could probably connect a Bluetooth. So they used to make these things, and they probably still do. They have them for cars sometimes, and they're like a little circular puck, and they have play and pause, volume up, volume down, and then next track, previous track. If you Bluetooth connected one of those to the iPad, it should do play and pause as long as the app that you're using supports the standard play pause functionality.
Look at this. This is so cute.
Oh, look at it.
This is like the mini Atari. And notice, by the way, in the background, Apple TV. So they're asserting that it works as a Wi-Fi, but it also uses Bluetooth. It has a trackpad, so that you see that has the buttons there for up, down, left, right, and so forth. So you'd be able to use that to press pause and so forth. And it's only $27. It's cheap. So I might try this myself. There are others like it, but this looks cool because it does have a track. You'd want a trackpad, wouldn't you?
Yeah. In fact, that's what I want to make sure. I remember that the iPad had a limitation with what you could use, whether you could use a mouse or not. Nice. So let me double check this. Mouse,
okay. Yeah.
iPad.
They keep showing it with Roku and Apple TV. So I feel like they think this will work. It says Android, Mac, Windows. I'd read the reviews.
Okay, I guess it does let you. You can use just a blue iPad OS doesn't support scrolling or other gestures with the that's for the first generation, so that's fine. So apparently you can use
this. Goes well with your mini Atari. It's about the same size.
Yeah, so in theory that would work. And you'd be able to use it as a pointer for your screen. And I remember my dad, he was a cable guy. And so he did like installations and fixed all the stuff and like out of the power lines or whatever, or the cable lines. But he also, because he was a cable guy, he got a lot of the tech early on. And I remember him having a keyboard and trackpad combo that he had sitting on his table. And he was able to control the screen with it. And I thought it was the coolest thing at the time.
So the real question is whether the iPad will allow full Bluetooth.
Correct. Control. And it does seem to, because there's a page, use a Bluetooth mouse or trackpad with your iPad, and it shows how to connect those.
I'm just going to buy this, and next week we'll tell you.
Boom.
How about that?
I appreciate that.
It says it'll come tomorrow.
Awesome.
Then I think that'd be a little handy little thing to have.
Yeah,
we have the big version, of it with the trackpad. Yeah. This is from Logitech, but this one's like the size of that Atari.
Right. My concern is that because it's a one device, that it might not work. It needs to have it as two.
And you're
separate,
not using it with an Apple TV. You're using it with an iPad specifically.
Yeah, I have it hooked up with like an HDMI
clever
dongle
TV.
Mm-hmm. If this works, I'm going to take my iPad on the road with me because more and more hotels are starting to support like Google's Chromecast or AirPlay and that kind of thing. But when you get to a hotel, it doesn't. It's so frustrating. You have to watch.
You plug it into the HDMI.
Yeah, so you're just plugging in the iPad to the HDMI. You have an HDMI dongle. That's a great idea.
And then sometimes I disconnect it and hook up my work laptop to it, so I have a bigger screen now. Use the
well, this might even be nice to carry around with your iPad as a little mini. I mean, both of us have keyboards. Actually, could you use one of Apple's smart keyboards with this?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you could also,
as long as you have it connected, because remember it's got to have the 3 prongs of connection in the back. It's not Bluetooth, right? So as long as you have
but then you'd have to be sitting next to the TV because the iPad's connected with the HDMI. I get the reason why you want a remote. Yeah.
As long as you have an iPad that supports iPadOS 13.4 or later, then you will be able to use you'll be able to use a Bluetooth mouse. So
nice.
We'll be able to do that.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Great travels. Enjoy. What are you watching your iPad? Oh, he's long gone. I put one of my other pictures as wallpaper. I thought it'd be kind of nice to take pictures of the rocks in our backyard. And I made it into my little in my desktop.
Wait, you took that photo?
Yeah, well, anybody could. It's just a picture of rocks.
I know, but it just looks.
Is it famous?
What did you take it with?
Guess what?
It looks so pretty.
I know.
I'm sorry.
This
Stop.
makes the world look pretty. Look, I should show you the pictures I took of you.
It's genuinely gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
I want that rock photo.
I will send you.
Please.
I will send you my rocks.
Please send me your rocks.
You know what it is? It's kind of interesting because it has a very narrow depth of field, right? So only those rocks are in focus.
That's why I like it.
And everything else is kind of.
It's really pretty.
Anyway, silly. By the way, I am now using widgets on my iPad home screen. And that's why I actually had to change the backdrop. I'm sorry, this keeps going off. That's why I had to change the backdrop because I couldn't see the widgets. They're white. And so
widgets.
What I used for my backdrop, there was no way to see like half the widgets because I had darkness. So I found a picture that I could see my widgets.
You can make them any color you want.
What? You can? You can make them any color? Oh man, here I am thinking how clever I was by changing.
Well, no, but the backdrop. Great. So
how do you change the color? The clock?
Yeah.
But does that change it for everything? Yeah. So let's do black. You're right. It's tied to. Oh my gosh.
The world has just opened up for Leo Laporte.
We are learning many things today.
Ooh, and then you could do a color that looks great with the stones.
I could do. It's kind of weird that you have to pick one color for everything, but isn't that how? That's not how widgets behave on the home screen.
True.
Yeah. So what looks good with the stones?
I thought like a light tan, but that might actually make it fade in.
A light tan. Bright yellow. Green. How about that? It's certainly visible.
I'm not a big fan of the color yellow, to be honest. So it's hard for me to look at that and think it looks good.
How about magenta?
Magenta.
All right. Anyway, that's no reason to spend any time in your life. And I apologize on behalf of all of us here.
But there's a pro tip. If you've got an iPad,
I didn't know that.
You can change the color of the widgets.
Live and learn. Now I've ordered this silly, tiny keyboard for
and we'll find out if it works.
But I will play with it next week on Ask the Tech Guys. That's what we do here. We buy stuff and we don't need so we can play with it on Ask the Tech Guys. That's what I tell my wife. That is Mikah Sargent. He's going to be back on Tuesday with iOS Today with Rosemary Orchard right before MacBreak Weekly. So about 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And then he'll also be here Thursday for Tech News Weekly.
Indeed.
And that's the latest tech coverage. Each week, a new co-host, which is fun. You have some wonderful co-hosts.
They're great.
And then, of course, Sunday for Ask the Tech Guys. If you're watching live, Camille, stay tuned. Was it Camille that was watching? No, it was Becky. Becky, stay tuned because we are going to do This Week in Tech in just a moment after we reset. You can watch this show live every Sunday. As soon as Leo gets in to about 1:30 in the afternoon. It was late today. I'm sorry I had to watch the F1 race. I had to see who won.
Wait, was it fast enough to be done so you could get to work?
No, they should be faster, these F1 races. We do it nominally from 11 a.m. Pacific to 2 p.m. Eastern. That is 2 to 5 p.m. I'm sorry, Pacific. That is 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern. That is 1800 UTC. I tell you that because, like Becky, you can watch us live. There's two ways. If you're a member of the club, of course, the Club TWiT Discord has the live stream. You'll even get to see the stuff between shows. On YouTube, we turn it on the minute the show begins, turn it off the minute the show ends. YouTube.com/TWiT/live.
Nice. You remember.
Live. What else? Oh, you can still call us even during the week.
You can. 888-724-2884 is the phone number.
Leave a message, and we didn't do any voice messages today, but we'll get to some next week. We also do the emails, atg@twit.tv. And that's it.
That's it. Join the club. twit.tv/clubtwit.
Don't forget to join the club. With your help, your support, you can get ad-free versions of all the shows. You can get the Discord. Sure, you can get all the special stuff we do, but really including Stacy's Book Club, we did a live watch party in our house and served brisket.
And guess what? This is the second show to learn about this. I am once a month going to be doing something called Mikah's Crafting Corner.
Oh, I'm so happy you're doing that.
Where you can all stop by. I'll be doing my crafts. You'll be doing yours. We can share our crafts with each other,
cute.
Talk about what we're doing. And I'm really
What is your
excited
craft?
about it. My craft is going to most likely and most often be crochet or knit, but everybody can bring their own crafts. I think John Ashley might stop by and build some Lego from time to time. We're really looking forward to that. So I'm planning on doing it one Wednesday a month. So stay posted for that. Anthony has created some great artwork for the little event. So very fun.
Mikah's Crafting Corner. Well, now I've got to come up with something.
Cross stitch, painting,
sleeping with Leo.
No.
Watch me sleep. No.
Oh, that. Okay.
No. I didn't mean not an adult. Just watch me sleep. No, I always have wanted to do this. Bedtime with Leo. No, again, you guys have such dirty minds. I would read you a bedtime story.
Well, please don't do that during Crafting Corner because we need people to stay awake.
No, but maybe that'd be kind of fun to bedtime story late night. I always want. The reason is that when I got into radio, I always thought it'd be really fun to do all night, late night, nonstop talk shows.
That's when the interesting people come out, right?
As soon as I did that, I realized this is not a good idea. However, maybe it would be okay with you guys in the club. So if you're not a member of the club, please join. It's $7 a month. The main thing is it helps us continue to do what we do, employ all these great people, keep the studio, keep the lights on. We really need your support more than ever. Twit.tv/club. Twit, tell your friends too. Thank you to all our Club Twit members. Thanks to everybody who watches. We will see you next time. In the meantime, you know what I always say.
Have a great Geek Week.
Bye-bye.